babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day and every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble, controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining just the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Back at it again. And yo, Bits, what's up? And thanks for the gift, for real. And indeed, it's been a crazy last couple of days, with the news cycle. Actually, I had to take a little pause yesterday just to, schedule's real tight. But I'm here today, and the cycle has been crazy. I mean, listen, I really think this is going to be it for Trump. And I think what American people find out about Trump is going to be every bit of what people have been saying and worse. And you remember the other day when I said, all of this shit that's coming out in these emails, all of the stuff that's already come out, it's bad enough, right? So whatever is in those Epstein files must be worse. It must be worse, like that plus more, another element to it. And then I said, could could someone have been murdered regarding this Epstein shit? Like, seriously. And at that time, I was actually talking about people on the island, like someone being murdered on his island, or someone, Trump murdering someone on that island, or on those houses, on the premises, Epstein's property, something like that. At the time I said that, I was thinking about that. But then I just reminded myself that, wait a second, I've been saying this for a minute, that it looks like Trump actually killed Epstein. I mean, we've been saying this for months now. Almost a year. I think I've been saying this as soon as I started really going live on this shit, and that's just about a year ago. Like, for real. And, but listen, in that line of thinking, and good day, everybody that's tuning in, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, or good night, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me. But here's the thing. On that line of thought, it's already stuff that's been out. Epstein's brother thinks that somebody killed him. And then he came out not too long ago on, Don Lemon's program, where he was like, I didn't say Trump did it. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Right. So Epstein's brother said things like that for a while now. And I've been saying shit like that for a while now. It's chronologically, it fits. It seems like a motive that someone would kill over. People kill over all kinds of shit less than this with every single day of the week. A person would kill you over some tennis shoes. A person would kill you over your purse. People kill, this is shit people kill over every goddamn day. The mafia kills over shit like this every day. People that want to, powerful people kill over this stuff. This is exactly what they kill over. And I truly believe that this is going to be some shit that goes down in history. And here's the kicker. Hence the title of the program. Did the Supreme Court actually pass that immunity shit already having in mind that this MF might have killed? Do you think it's possible? Do you think that's possible? Do you think it's possible? Because think about this. Of course, they did it so he could get away with crimes. That's very, very obvious. They didn't pass that to stop a president from committing crimes. They did that shit to help one commit crimes. Any president. But here's what I'm asking. Did they have specifically in mind this covering up of the Epstein shit? Like, did they already know sooner or later the Epstein shit is going to come out, and we need to give Trump a tool to get away with it? Think about that for a second. And think about the timing, because that was just 1 year ago. Think about that. How long did it take Trump to be in office before Epstein died? That was about a year. That was about a year too. Things take time to play out. So on that note, just to remind people before we get into it, what it was actually sounding like, what the conversation was just 1 year ago, right? Before we get into the rest of the shenanigans, okay? Big up to all the podcasters out there, the ones, from the left. I appreciate y'all a lot. Thanks for the support. Big up to everybody in the U.S. and the EU and everywhere else, Africa and Asia, that's been tuning in, because I do check the stats. So I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, right? Now, let's get down to brass tacks. This is some I think this is it. I'm sorry. I'm pretty good at making predictions about crazy shit. And if you've been following my podcast, you will notice that I've been dropping some jewels way ahead of time. And don't make me I'm not any special than anybody else. I'm just saying I'm a thinking man. And I know some of y'all out there in the metasphere out there listening are thinking people too. I know I'm not the only one. You see what I mean? That can deduct things like this. But this seems like a real plot. This seems like a real goddamn plan. This seems deep. And I've been saying it. Do you trust the Supreme Court? Do you trust the Supreme Court? Just ask yourself that. Just ask yourself that. Do you trust them? I mean, are they commingling, the Supreme Court commingling with Epstein too, or people involved with Epstein? Do they know way, way, way more? Not just the Supreme Court, but loads of people. Do they? And, the people that have their access, the people, the elites, and the people that have access to the files now, getting a little bit, a drip drop at a time, right? Do they know a whole lot more than what they've been telling people? Did this person, Trump, kill fucking Epstein? And did the Supreme Court actually do this ruling to help him get away with it? I mean, because think about this. What other sense does this ruling make? I mean, just think about this. Is it one crime, or did they know about another crime? Did they intend it to just be certain crimes, or was it all crimes? And was covering up Epstein one of the actual crimes that they had in mind? I mean, I'm just saying, it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad, but I'm willing to check the shit out, see how it looks. Wait a second, what's going on here? Is this rocking? 2 seconds. Wow, what's going on? Right, here we go. Now let's take a listen to what Biden was saying just 1 year ago.
Is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character. Because you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency, you also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office.
Now, these are the comments on the immunity ruling. And what is really, really strange about that immunity ruling is when we get to the part where the judges are talking about it, when they're debating it, they actually mention a scenario where the president kills someone. Straight up. Do you think that's a coincidence?
Presidency. This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision,
do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Please click the like button, all right? Take a second to click the like button.
For the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent.
Yeah, somebody in the
because
chat
the power
asked.
of the office will no longer be constrained by the law.
Yo, somebody in the chat. Another important question. Did this MFer blow Bill Clinton? But anyway, let's get past the serious shit first. I'm being serious. Listen to this. I'm serious now.
The president can do.
Did they pass this ruling with Trump killing Epstein in mind?
Supreme Court decision.
Oh, and please fill out the poll. There is a poll up there in the chat. Please let me know what you think in that poll too.
On presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation, from gutting voting rights and civil rights, to taking away a woman's right to choose, to today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation. Nearly 4 years ago, my predecessor sent a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer.
Just think about this, because I know one thing for sure. If you want to do something, it's best, and it's something that is very, very important. It's best to layer it with other reasonings, other reasonings that you can get people to go along with, so it doesn't sacrifice your real most important goal. You see what I mean? Sure, there's other reasons why you would want immunity, but what I'm saying is that is the reason, the real reason, the most important reason, a reason, could it be that they actually knew Trump murdered Epstein already? Could that be the main reasoning? That's all I'm saying.
We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day. Attack on the police.
Just listen to, and see, truth has depth. Truth can be applied to anything and still have depth. Just listen to what he said and just ask yourself, what if he was talking about Epstein? I'm not saying he is right here, but what he's saying is facts. So could you just supplant Epstein's name in there instead of January 6th? But we all heard the court argue about if the president killed someone. Watch, it's coming up. Watch.
To stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day. Attack on the police. The ransacking at the Capitol. A mob literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. Gallows erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence. I think it's fair to say it was one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely. It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation.
So on the surface, Biden was totally correct. I mean, people don't know nothing anymore. The law means almost nothing. Everything is uncertain when it regards the law now, since Trump has come into office. Whatever norms there were are not the norms today. They changed when Trump came into office, and they are blatant. They are blatant. Now, here's the interesting part. The way the Supreme Court discusses this themselves, they actually mention the scenario of murder, which is really, really wild. It's wild that they discussed that, Here we go.
For example, that the executive vesting clause does not include only executive powers laid out explicitly therein, but encompasses all the powers that were originally understood to be included therein. And Marbury against Madison itself provides strong evidence this kind of immunity, a broad principle of immunity that protects the president's official acts from scrutiny, direct sitting in judgment, so to speak, of the Article III courts. That matches the original understanding of the executive vesting clause.
How exactly would we determine what an official act is?
I point the court to two cases for that. Obviously, Fitzgerald against Nixon is the best guidance that the court gives, where the court adopted the outer perimeter test. And this court engaged in analysis there that's very instructive here, where it looked at the level of specificity at which the acts are described. In that case, a civil case. Here it would be the indictment.
Well, what if you have, let's say, the official act is appointing ambassadors, and the president appoints a particular individual to a country, but it's in exchange for a bribe. Somebody says, I'll give you $1 million if I'm made the ambassador to whatever. How do you analyze that?
That, I think, would fall under this court's discussion in Brewster, where the court held with respect to legislative acts that bribery is not an official act, which also matches the common law background. So the way that this court in Brewster kind of sliced at the joint was to say accepting the bribe and the agreement to sex the bribe are...
Okay, so you can hear they discuss all types of plot possibilities, but then they get to the part where Sotomayor is speaking, right? So let's check that.
Say is a concept long viewed as appropriate in law, that there's some things that are so fundamentally evil that they have to be protected against. Now, I think...
Do me a favor, y'all. Click the like button, please. Click the like button. Do me that favor. Thank you.
Your answer below, I'm going to give you a chance to say if you stay by it, if the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could, and why?
You hear that? So what does that mean, a political rival? I mean, because look, they're discussing political rivals, but if you can if they're arguing that you could use this to kill a political rival, then what about anybody else? I mean, let me hear this one more time, and I'm just going to do a little research while this plays. Let me play this out here.
Now, I think, and your answer below, I'm going to give you a chance to say if you stay by it. If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could, and why? Because he's doing it for personal reasons. He's not doing it like President Obama is alleged to have done it, to protect the country from a terrorist. He's doing it for personal gain. And isn't that the nature of the allegations here? That he's not doing these acts in furtherance of an official responsibility. He's doing it for personal gain.
I agree with that characterization of the indictment, and that confirms immunity, because the characterization is that there's a series of official acts that were done for an unlawful.
No, because immunity says even if you did it for personal gain, we won't hold you responsible. How could that be?
Right, exactly. So how could that be? And so they discuss a number of different things, but in the end, Trump got qualified immunity, and they claim that it's while he's the president giving an order, even if it's not legal. Even if it's not legal, the man is immune to illegal orders. And so now, in hindsight, let's go to where we at today now.
This hour with new MS Now reporting. According to a White House official, President Trump is facing a, quote, losing battle when it comes to the Epstein files. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity to candidly discuss the president's thinking. The official goes on to add that the more Trump publicly involves himself in protesting the release of the files, the worse off he looks. But despite Trump's goal to move on from this controversy, he's showing no signs of shifting, regardless of how Republicans vote on Tuesday. And so
now this is the thing. While these files get released, everyone now is starting to catch up and ask, did Trump actually kill Epstein? Not that people haven't been asking it before. Sure, a lot of people I've been asking it before. For people have been asking it, as far as I know, I've been asking it for like a year now, right? Even before that, but I'm talking about on record, on record where you could view me asking. That's here on my platform, right? Now, my thoughts is that, oh my God, my name, but my thoughts is that, is this what's going on? Like, are other people starting to wake up as long as this information, steadily keeps coming and leaking out? Are more people starting to ask, did Trump kill it? Let me know what you think. Are people suspecting it? I mean, is this a wide story? Is legacy media now asking this question? Like, let me know.
So far, at least 12 House Republicans have already confirmed they'll vote with Democrats to release the files. This comes as the White House has been on the defensive following House oversight Democrats.
Because I'm saying, think about this. What would be the reason why Trump doesn't want these files coming out? Like, okay, so there's worse acts, but there's already acts that people know of that didn't stop his base. His base is not stopped. Think about this. Not only is his base, but the Congress of the United States of America doesn't even fucking care that a woman came out and whole fucking accused Trump of molesting her 4 times when she was 13 years old. That's a deposition. This United States Congress doesn't even give a fuck. Like, normally that would be like, okay, we don't know if he's guilty, but whoa, partner, you can't be president. That's what happens in a normal fucking world. Especially when you have all this qualifying information about your relationship with Epstein. And what normal world can a mother, can a bastard like this become the fucking president? I'm sorry. That makes zero fucking sense. That makes zero fucking sense. You know? That means that MFer can definitely be blackmailed by any other criminal that has done any other criminal activity. You know, what are you going to do? So you're going to let a person be allegedly, like, said by many to be some rotten criminal, and you just like, oh well, fuck it, just let him have the highest power, the highest seat in the country. That's no problem at all. No, if there's less allegations, you would usually limit a person's access to the government. You see what I mean? And in this case, the exact opposite happened. But what could it really be? Because we know it's not the pedophilia that bothers these MFers. The pedophilia don't bother Congress. The pedophilia doesn't bother the Senate. The pedophilia doesn't bother his base. The pedophilia doesn't bother the Republican Party. The pedophilia doesn't bother Caroline Leavitt. It doesn't bother Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. None of that shit. You see what I mean? So what could it really be?
It's releasing.
Could it be murder? Could it be that those files actually prove that this guy killed and murdered Epstein? And if it does, what's the motherfucking penalty? What's the penalty going to be? And if they're covering it up, do you think they're just going to come out later and say, we were covering it up because it's an official act that damages the country? We can't let the people know that this kind of act went on and blah, blah, blah. You know, how could we do it? We're protecting our country. If we have that, people would think negatively of us or whatever. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me get in the chat while this plays.
Never before seen emails alleging Trump's ties to the late sex trafficker.
Do me a favor. Click the like button, please. Do me a favor. Take a second and click the like button. There's like 300 people up in here. 18 likes, y'all. Come on. You like it a little more than that. Thank you.
Trump has denied any wrongdoing in relation to the Epstein allegations. Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari of Arizona. She serves on the House Oversight Committee that released those emails. Congresswoman, thanks for being with us tonight. What is the whip count that you're expecting on the Epstein vote when it hits the floor of the House? And what's your message to Republicans who are worried politically about their vote because of Donald Trump, but they also have a lot of risk at being seen as protecting sexual?
I mean, dude is scared of these files being released. And again, we know for a fact at this point, the pedophilia doesn't bother nobody, and it doesn't bother the Republican Party. It doesn't bother them. Come on. That doesn't bother them because there's enough there to say, whoa, impeach. You know what I mean? There was enough there before he even got elected. You see what I mean? In a normal world that doesn't like pedophilia, in a normal country that isn't disgusting, that doesn't have what people out there committing these acts in the name of right-wing Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Like getting away with all kinds of shit. I mean, what's up? What is the deal? You know, this is some weird shit going on here, you know, and there's nothing normal about it. There's nothing normal about it, you know, and yet they're still sitting back in Congress acting like this is normal and we have an excuse. No. The people that do not impeach Trump are the worst human beings on earth. If any of this happened to your kids or your family member, it would be because you didn't take a stand yourself. So don't get out there, none of you Congress people, and complain about people molesting your kids, people raping your daughters, people murdering your sons, doing any kind of crime or anything, because this shit doesn't bother you when it's sitting right in your face. You know, like really.
Sexual predators.
Don't complain. Look at that. Predators. Don't complain because you okay with it.
Are worried politically about their vote because of Donald Trump, but they also have a lot of risk at being seen as protecting sexual predators.
I think it's worse than sex. I think it's not just sexual predators. I think it's the deviancy is even worse. You know, I'm starting to really think some little girls got killed. Like, I'm starting to really think that. I don't think it's just Epstein, even though I believe it's Epstein for real. But I think it's also more than just Epstein. Because think about this. Let's say it is Epstein. If you could kill one person that way, why wouldn't you have killed before? Why wouldn't you have? I mean, if you could kill a billionaire, why wouldn't you kill a person you're sex trafficking, or a person that you bought, or a person that's family doesn't have any money? You see what I mean? I mean, do you know how these victims turn out? A lot of them were getting death threats the whole time, according to them. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to think it's murder is inside of those Epstein things. You know, that's just how my mind works right now. Of course, I don't know. I'm just extrapolating. I'm just inducting based on what I'm already seeing. But let me know what you think. I mean, is there murder inside of those Epstein files? Is it Epstein? Is it a little girl, or is it both? What do you think? Let me know.
Thank you so much for having me on. You know, I don't think that Republican members of Congress or Donald Trump himself can hide from this any longer. The files that we received from the
bitch, I think it's murder for real.
Epstein estate a couple of days ago.
It might even be worse. It may be like it's something that and disgusting and just, you know.
The 23,000 pages reveal so many more questions and bring about so many more questions when it comes to the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and why this cover-up is still underway. I personally expect that several dozen Republican members of Congress will ultimately vote.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Gaetz, he's disgusting, and they was like capping for him. MAGA Mike was like, oh no, we got to protect this guy. MAGA Mike has a history of protecting pedos, basically. Now, what this is right here, this is on MS, by the way. They're saying that they expect Republicans to be voting for this. This is tomorrow. Isn't this tomorrow, y'all? Let me know. Is this tomorrow? Is this tomorrow? I do believe they said it was Tuesday. Is it this Tuesday or is it next Tuesday, 1 week from now? I think it might be next Tuesday. Let me look that up.
On Tuesday, why this cover-up is still underway. I personally expect that several dozen Republican members of Congress will ultimately vote on Tuesday and this week to release the Epstein files. I think that the case is very strong in terms of the fact that the truth is that Donald Trump will not be the president in a couple of years, and these Republican members of Congress will not be able to outlast this politically if they don't vote the right way.
Yo.
Very clear.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, y'all. They voting on this shit tomorrow. Damn, the time has flown by so fast. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me go to this. Let me see how many people filled out this survey. Okay, 73% of people think the U.S. Supreme Court passed the ruling to cover Trump for the Epstein death. Damn. And 27% say no. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't put nothing past none of them. And to think about it, if you really want to get away with some shit, plain sight is a good way to do it. I mean, especially if you if you got so much nasty stuff that you got to duck and dive around, well, making people get used to nasty stuff might be the best way to do it. You know, just force it down their throats and be like, oh, well, you didn't see it. It is there, but it's not what you think. Again and again. No, it's not that bad. This shit is terrible. This is just terrible. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Come on now. What's going on? All right, here we go.
Your black and white vote. Are you voting to protect pedophiles and the rich and powerful men who abused children and the financial institutions who enabled this cover-up for decades? Or are you going to vote for accountability and justice? So I think the dam is going to break this week, and Donald Trump cannot hide from this any longer.
Let me play for you, if I can, Congresswoman.
All right, click the like button, yo. Yo, check it out now. let's see here. Next question. Put the number in the chat. How many days do you think Trump is going to last before they try to sneak J.D. Vance in there? Give me a number. Do you think it's going to be a week? That's 7 days. 2 weeks is 14 days. You get the point. Let me know because I think this is going to take him down. I think this Epstein shit is definitely it. It's over for Trump, I think.
What your colleague Tom Massey said earlier this morning on ABC. Take a listen.
I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement. But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
So give me your thoughts on how Republicans are kind of calculating their decisions right now and whether or not they can be protected by Donald Trump over the next 2 years as they face their own political challenges or perhaps their own constituents.
I mean, I think many of them are coming to terms with the fact that they don't really have a good choice here. If they vote to protect pedophiles, it's going to haunt them. It's going to haunt them for the rest of their political careers. Many of the members of the Republican caucus are newer members, younger members. They have, futures ahead of them. And Donald Trump and association with Donald Trump is becoming more toxic by the day. His numbers are underwater on every single issue, from immigration to affordability. And on Epstein, it is, I believe, the lowest at -39, because Americans want the truth and they want justice. And so, I've even seen, footage of Republican members from Arizona who are historically diehard Trumpers saying that they are going to vote to release the files. One of those members is running.
Yeah, somebody in the chat who said that, Jimmy Crackcorn, said everybody in the files is going to have immunity or already has immunity. But what do you think? That's an interesting point. What do you think about that? Because as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, you could just give immunity to anybody. Trump can just start giving everybody immunity, especially anybody who helped him commit a crime, right? In theory, can't he do that? Yeah.
For governor. He's a diehard MAGA Republican. And of course, he knows that if he votes to protect pedophiles, he's not going to have a shot in the Arizona governor's race. So I think they're being.
You know what? You're right. You're right, Jimmy Crackcorn. It costs the taxpayers billions of dollars fighting in court. Yeah. And sometimes the taxpayers, the people, got to just be like, look, these MFers they basically fucked the whole law up. So we're not going to get justice out of this for Trump. But I think taxpayers and voters need to go about it this way. Clean house. Just get rid of them all. Just get rid of all of them. Anybody who helped Trump. Supreme Court, impeach. Anybody that helped Trump, impeach him. Anybody in Congress that helped Trump, impeach him. Impeach them, him or her. Impeach them. Like, you can't have a country like this. You can't have a country where nobody knows what the fuck the law is and the president can do anything. Right now you have literally a country where the president can commit pedophilia, rape, steal, kill, murder, rob, steal. He's setting a precedent right now, and he won't be held accountable by the Supreme Court for none of it. You already know this. For none of it. None of it. Folks got to get ahead of the shit. You got to get ahead of it because you ain't rich. The people that listen to me are not rich. Maybe a couple. If you out there, no, but you get my point. 95% of the people that listen to me are not rich, are everyday folks. So we can't afford all this bullshit, time wasted, fucking just, sitting back there waiting for justice. These people in power right now, they're not going to give you no justice. That's the whole point here. They are not going to give the American citizen taxpayer any justice. You have to take control of the wheel, and that means impeach them all. Anybody that helped Trump, impeach them, eradicate them from justice, write new law. You can impeach them, and you can change all the laws about what a Supreme Court justice is allowed to do. You can change, you can like do a whole lot of things, write some bills, but if you don't have willing participants willing to tighten the ship up, you ain't going to get shit out of this. And I'm telling you, you probably will not. You can't take the chance of expecting these people that are in power now to bring justice. You take that chance without another backup plan, you're a goddamn fool. You are a goddamn fool. And you will be taken for your cheddar, for your paper, for your labor, for your blood, sweat, and tears. And you'll be played for a fool. And they might grab your fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on.
Opportunistic, of course. In every other instance, they have, gone along with the president, even if they've said another thing, whether it be on ripping away healthcare or another.
Exactly.
Said another they race. So I think they're being opportunistic, of course. In every other instance, they have, gone along with the president, even if they've said another thing, whether it be on ripping away healthcare or another issue. But I think on this issue, it's going to be particularly tough. And I do think that this is really going to be when MAGA and the rift in MAGA, begins to exacerbate so deeply that they can't really recover from it.
Congresswoman, as you have laid out, it seems like this White House is unlikely to go along with whatever this vote turns out to be, whether that means a veto, a pocket veto, or just refusing to cooperate with the release of these files.
That also, in many, many ways, you know what I mean? Yo, folks, the only thing you can do is guarantee yourself a life and freedom of this bullshit. You can guarantee yourself the voter, but only if everyone that votes in the United States of America, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent or none of the above. How about you're just a citizen and you don't like fucking slavery? How about those people? All the people that are citizens and don't like slavery, okay, you can stop this if you just go out this in this next election and vote. Just get rid of anybody that capped for Trump. Anybody that capped for Trump. Anybody that's getting any money from the same people that help these people cap for Trump. Anything that's associated with these people at all, whether it's Congress or Senate, get rid of them. Do not vote for them. Get rid of them, because if you get 2/3 of the House, if you get the supermajority in the House and the Senate, you can do anything you want. You can get rid of as many justices you want. You can get rid of all this shit. You can rewrite the laws so American taxpayers actually get some fucking health care out of their taxes, so they get some education out of their taxes, so the rich people aren't the only motherfucker. Because this, you could see, when you got rich pedophiles running around, murdering, doing whatever the fuck they want, and even on the taxpayer dime, that's because you have allowed lawlessness already. And you didn't clamp down on it in the beginning, and it has just run a fucking muck. No country can survive this bullshit. This is just outrageous. This is the U.S. government, Supreme Court, Congress, Senate, you are the laughing fucking stock of the entire world, and you are not patriots. You are not. You are not. Okay? You are not patriots. You do not fucking care about your fucking country or your citizens. And this fucking proves it. Your behavior around this proves it. If you can't do something about this, you ain't about a motherfucking thing, let alone patriotism. Goddamn.
Files. What tools do lawmakers such as yourself have available if, in fact,
I'm only speaking my mind because I don't have a lot of time, yo. I don't want nobody being confused about my thoughts. These are my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. I'm just getting my thoughts out when I got my time.
This White House does not cooperate.
Don't come back later and say, oh, I didn't know he thought like that. I'm making it plainly clear over and over and over. This is how I think.
Or for that matter, if the president decides to veto or pocket veto.
Don't come back saying, I wish he would have told me something.
So, and the discharge petition, assuming it passes both chambers.
Well, it's an excellent question, and I think one that we're going to have to continue to grapple with. I think the vote this week could be very impactful, especially if the, majority of Republicans or enough Republicans vote for it that we.
Somebody in the chat said you are blaming someone that hasn't been convicted of a crime. So what? People do that. Prosecutors blame people all the time that haven't been convicted of a crime. But what are you talking about? It's people on trial and accused of all kinds of shit. People actually do get away with murder. Just because they don't get convicted doesn't mean they haven't committed a crime. You see what I mean? And I don't care if you classify it as a crime or not. Murder is fucking murder. Rape is fucking rape. Fraud is stealing money that's not yours, is still stealing money that's not yours. Ripping off the American taxpayer. I don't give a fuck what you call it. It doesn't have to be a crime for me to totally reject it and say that it's unpatriotic. Actually, people that steal money from their own taxpayers and wear this civil, act like they're, should be involved in the civilian, civil society, and government and things like this. Yo, you are sellouts anyway. You're sellouts anyway. Because you're doing that, stealing money in a country where there's people on the street, homeless, where there's people working 3 jobs that can't afford to keep a home, a roof over their head, in a country where far too many people can't even access health care while you're the richest country in the world. Far too many people are walking with student debt for their entire lives. Yo, and you're stealing money? You deserve to be thrown under the fucking bus. Like, the country is fucked up because of people like you. Fuck what you call it. That behavior of scamming and being a scammer that doesn't give a fuck about the consequences, only gives a fuck about themselves and is going to lie while being involved in civic society, while being involved in government, and you're going to fucking lie. You're the worst. That's like being a pedophile trying to go apply for a job in a fucking kindergarten. You're fucked.
Kind of past that veto threshold, the Senate becomes then the next question, right? Does the Senate even take it up or not? There's been different.
And committing a crime is not even the bar for impeachment. All you have to do is do some shit people don't like. How about that? If the American people say you need to be impeached, then you need to get your ass out there if you're in Congress and you're in the Senate and go fucking do it. That's your job. Guess who pays you? The American people. You don't fucking pay us. Get the whole shit straight. Get it straight. Your job is to represent the people. And if the people say impeach, it shouldn't matter if the motherfucker has roses in his mouth. Okay? Impeach him, period. And it doesn't even matter what you fucking think either.
Perspectives around that. We also know that any individual senator could continue to.
Again, we talking about freedom or slaves. In America, it's a lot of people that apply slave logic in the United States. Oh, well, I pay them with my taxes every day, but I had to do what they say. That's the best we can do. They're your fucking employees. Do what you're supposed to do with your fucking employees when they don't do their fucking job, or you ain't going to have a life. When your employees don't do their job, you ain't going to have a business. When the government representatives don't do their job, you ain't going to have a life, yo.
Bring this issue up with different tools that they have outside of, discharge petition is
you really going to accept people fucking with your life while you pay them? Like, I'm sorry, yo, that's laziness. That's lazy, ignorant bullshit. Okay? Like, come on, get a hold of what you have. Get a hold of what you have. Like, take responsibility. Don't make excuses.
that we have in the House that seemed unlikely to get to this point months ago, and now here we are. I think the Senate has the same. But here's the thing. The American public is the strongest tool that we have.
Thank you. Thank you. Start acting like it. Start acting like it, especially if you're the one paying them, you know? Don't you know they're your employees and they're supposed to do what you tell them to do? And if they're not doing things well, guess who is to blame first? Your ass for accepting it. You are. If you live in a failed fucking country and you keep voting and you still complaining, you're the fucking problem.
Americans are demanding accountability and justice on this issue. The victims of Jeffrey Epstein are not giving this up. They just put out a very, very impactful ad that, talks about the pain that they have endured over decades since they were children. And the Oversight Committee is absolutely not giving this up. Oversight Democrats have been at the forefront of this. The subpoena that we issued is the reason why we even got the files from the Epstein estate. It's the reason why there is a subpoena against the Department of Justice to begin with, and we're not backing down. And I'll tell you that ultimately, when we win back the House of Representatives in 2026 and Robert Garcia becomes the chairman.
For the people that survive it. For the people for the people that survive that long. For the people that survive that long. And that's the damn shame, because when you're dealing with treason, when you're dealing with this much treason, this much pathetic bullshit, this much corruption, it has real consequences on people's lives. People lose jobs. People lose homes. People lose security, economic security. And people lose health care. People starve. And people fucking die.
Of the Oversight Democrats, we are going to have every single person
in the richest country on earth. That's the richest country, most powerful country that's ever existed in the history of humankind.
Leader, organization, company who helped enable and perpetrate these crimes come testify before Congress, and we will get the truth for the victims, and people will be held accountable for these crimes.
Congresswoman, can I get your thoughts on the transformation of your colleague, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has, of course, it appears broken up with Donald Trump over the Epstein files?
I guess she wants a job. A lot of these people that are these congressional members that are not, taking tips from Marjorie, they're not going to have a job. Not if you're in a country with people with any brains. OK.
But has also started to separate herself from him, but the rest of her party on other issues like healthcare and foreign policy. How do you read what's happening there? And do you see this transformation as genuine?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I've thought a lot about it, and I've watched her interviews in depth.
All right. So, everybody, we know about Marjorie now. Let's go on.
Shadows most of us never see. The emerging claim that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly wrote he knew former President Donald Trump well enough to take him down.
Fill out the survey in the chat. Do you think that the Supreme Court passed that law, that crazy law to give with Epstein in mind, with these Epstein files in mind? Do you think that's that was something they were thinking? Let me know what you think.
Has captured intense attention across the political and media landscape, prompting a surge of questions about.
And do me a favor, click the like button, please. Click the like button, y'all. Take a second and click the like button, listeners.
Allegedly wrote he knew former President Donald Trump well enough to take him down, has captured intense attention across the political and media landscape, prompting a surge of questions about the nature and extent of their past acquaintance. It is a statement that, if accurately documented, carries extraordinary implications, not only because of Epstein's notoriety and the vast network of powerful individuals who moved within his social orbit, but because of the magnitude of the target he referenced. When a figure with Epstein's background purportedly suggests he held potentially damaging knowledge about a future president of the United States, the public is left staring into a vacuum of unanswered questions that demand scrutiny. And the underlying hook that keeps this story alive is simple yet explosive.
Now, that's another interesting thing that she said, because, a lot of us are used to seeing this in real time, like, boom, this happened, and reacting. But there's enough evidence to conclude that that's not what's going on with these people up here, the billionaires, not Epstein, not Trump. They're not seeing what's going on and reacting. They're already knowing what has gone on and planning in advance on how to deal with it. So keep that in mind when you confront this issue yourself.
Future president of the United States.
I mean, these people have been talking, going back and forth. You know, one of the things is also Bannon was actually involved with both. Epstein, interviewing Epstein. Right? No, not interviewing Epstein. I'm sorry. Meeting with Epstein. Yeah, he was trying to interview, but that's just a cover for meeting. Come on now. Maybe they're interviewing, or maybe they're just talking, or maybe they're doing both on and off the record, right? But in any case, so you have Epstein, right? And you have his whole dynamic with Bannon. And then you have Trump with his whole dynamic with Bannon. And if you look at it from the outside, you would think Bannon is on Trump's side, right? But Bannon's actually talking to Epstein about flipping on Trump. You see? So, and Trump had to have known that. That's obvious. Look, number one, it was in writing. A lot of what is all in emails. Number two, I mean, you almost have to be certain that the information doesn't just flow one way. It's not logical to think that Epstein would know what's going on in the Trump White House and what's going on in the Trump campaign before he gets in the White House, and then after he gets in the White House, and for the opposite to not also be plausible. For Trump to have some way in to knowing what Epstein is planning about him also. You see what I'm saying? It's illogical to assume he wasn't aware of what's in those emails.
States, the public is left staring into a vacuum of unanswered questions.
I'm not saying he did, but I'm saying it's illogical to not assume that he might know, like seriously.
That demand scrutiny, and the underlying hook that keeps this story alive is simple yet explosive. What did Epstein believe he knew, and why did he think it could bring down Donald Trump? For years, journalists, investigators, and members of the public have attempted to untangle the tightly woven strands of Epstein's relationships with influential politicians, billionaires, and high-profile executives.
Now, one thing's for sure is that, the fact when people say, why didn't Biden release it? Why didn't Biden release it? I don't know. That's a good question to ask. Maybe, as we see, Biden doesn't claim to be the same type of president Trump claims to be. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Caroline Levitt, they claim to be a specific type of government or Trump appointees. They claim to be the type that just say, yes, sir, we are going to do it because you said so, great leader. They claim that even when they had, a lot of them had their Senate hearings, to be before they were allowed to serve. Right. A lot of them just was so bold as to claim it like, we're going to do it. If Trump says we should do it, then we're going to do it. It's his mandate. He had a mandate. We're going to do it Trump's way. We're going to do law the Trump way. We're not going to do it the other way. Right. So Biden has never claimed to be that kind of president. So, there's a difference in the presidents. So what if Biden did know something was up? Or what if the others did know what's up? What would you do about it? What would you do about it? I mean, what would you do about it if you knew something was up with Trump? What would you do about it? If you knew Trump was being blackmailed, what would you do about it? You would prosecute the people, right? Wouldn't you do that? Well, look. Somebody was being prosecuted, Maxwell. And what did Trump do? Let her ass off. I mean, so you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. It is possible that other people knew a lot more, but, expecting them to do something, just thinking that some knew when you obviously have an administration right now that definitely knows all of it and ran on the premise that they would be were appointed on the premise that they would do exactly what Trump told them to do. And also, fuck the law. They like, fuck the law. We gonna do what Trump tell us to do. That's how we gonna do it. And you ain't gonna do anything about it because he has a mandate. That's what they said. That wasn't before. Biden didn't even have that. The Supreme Court telling him you could do anything when he went into office. Isn't that a blip? Think about that too. That new this whole idea about immunity didn't exist for Biden. Only till the end of his term. But they didn't walk him in saying, by the way, Biden, here's a trophy. You get immunity, man. You can just kill people and you could rape. You can do anything you want. You got immunity, man. Just say you're the president when you're doing it. They didn't tell him that when he entered office. But guess who they did tell? Trump. That's exactly who they told. And he's acting exactly like that. You see? So what's his excuse for not releasing it? You see, so I don't know. To me, it seems like no matter what, even if you thought that this was all fucked up and even worse, basically you're just going to all this is dropping a bomb on people, because this is not. This does not show this. This shows the United States to be weak in every single way possible. Weak security wise. Weak with spies, weak with security, weak, just the whole apparatus is weak. And usually, showing the world how weak you are is not something a president would want to do. Even if you were weak. I mean, most people don't go out, most businesses don't go out and just say, hey, y'all, we're fucking corrupt. Our numbers are whack. We don't have a hold of what's going on here. Information can be leaking in and out of this place. All you got to do is have the highest bidder. We got people working for Russia. We got people over here leaking information for pedophiles being blackmailed, all this shit. I mean, what the fuck are you supposed to do with that anyway? So now that you definitely know, what you going to do about it, American people? Now that you know how fucked up it is, what you going to do about it? It's not, you shouldn't think, how come Biden didn't do anything about it? Shit, you the one that knows now. What you going to do about it?
Hey, Trump was one of several public names whose proximity to Epstein has been noted through photographs, social events, and quotations captured in the public record. One well-circulated comment, reportedly made by Trump in the early 2000s, describing Epstein as a terrific guy who enjoyed the company of women, or the younger side, continues to resurface in discussions of their association. While such statements may not prove wrongdoing, they remain part of a broader historical...
Hey, somebody said I'm being melodramatic. I don't know. What are y'all talking about? Is that... Freedom Rider? What? Hold on. Who said that? Okay, man. Y'all, the chat is just, you guys are going at each other. Let me see here.
Historical context that makes the alleged Epstein note particularly difficult for observers to ignore. Narratives involving political figures come and go, but claims of this nature, especially when tied to someone at the center of one of the most disturbing criminal scandals in modern American history, tend to linger.
What really is so disgusting is that the Republicans would vote this in. Like, and it really is the Republican Party. I'm not just saying that because I'm not Republican, but I'm not just saying that. But what I mean is you're at least responsible for the standards of the people that run in your party's name. And this obviously shows that the Republican Party has zero standards. They have none. None of it is about serving the people of the United States whatsoever. It's just not there. They're not there to do that. They're there to line their pockets. They're there to cover up scandals and to cap for other people that line their pockets too. They're basically there to steal your money. They're not there to serve any real purpose for American people anymore. It's just a bluff, and the joke is on the American people. It's really sad to see that. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I have shit to qualify with. What I mean by it's a joke and it's just there to serve their pockets is because of this. If they were really doing your job, you would already have a normal healthcare system where everybody is included and everybody knows how it works. You would have an education system like that too. It's all privatized for people to make money off of, and then you have to import 30,000, 100,000 Chinese people to help you with math. I'm not saying there's a problem with that. It's Trump that says there's a problem with that. But wouldn't you want school for everybody if you have a problem training math and raising engineers? Doesn't that mean your own educational system is fucking bullshit? Wouldn't that be the direction? Wouldn't you at least want to look at it? I mean, come on. Wouldn't you at least want to look at it? When your healthcare system is rated number 40 in the fucking world and you're the richest country on earth, don't you want to just look at it? Don't you just want to look at it? And no, Canada's healthcare system is way better because more people get to the doctor, at least. More people actually get to a damn doctor. If you can't get to a doctor, I mean, a third of your problems won't even be discovered. You see? So, I don't know. This shit is just way too much for me, damn near. I'm just saying it doesn't work like that in every country. What you're seeing is very, very American. Corruption is not just American, but the fact that there's more corruption than there is serving the people, that's an American thing. That's the United States of America thing. That's not everybody else.
The allegation that Epstein believed he possessed information capable of inflicting serious damage on Trump invites further speculation about what form that information might have taken. A, was he referring to personal behavior, business dealings, political vulnerabilities, or something entirely different? No verified public evidence currently answers these questions. A, and responsible reporting requires stating clearly that the claim remains unproven. Yet the seriousness of it, combined with the extraordinary secrecy still surrounding portions of Epstein's records, makes it a matter of public interest. It also renews discussions about whether all relevant materials connected to Epstein's network have been fully examined or whether some remain obscured, locked away in sealed files or undisclosed investigative archives. This alleged statement, if authenticated, may also shed new light on how Epstein navigated elite circles for decades without serious legal accountability until late in his life. Many observers have long believed that Epstein maintained leverage over certain individuals, a theory supported by prosecutors' descriptions of how he cultivated connections and recorded sensitive information.
I mean, he admitted it himself. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious the man was blackmailing people, and it's obvious he was selling that information to other people, whatever you want to call sell. If it's, I'm comfortable with the word sell because you giving something to receive something, that's good enough. Whatever it is you're getting, I don't even care. But here's the thing. It's obvious he was doing that because it's self-admission, right? He's admitted it. Secondly, I mean, it's logical. It's logical. I mean, it is logical to assume that. You are safer to assume than to assume the opposite. No. He would never do that. He would never sell any of this information, this hot shit. No. How does Epstein make money anyway? Nah, he wouldn't sell. He wouldn't blackmail people and then sell it to other countries. Like, why would he do that? That doesn't make sense, does he? I don't know. Why wouldn't that make sense? Why wouldn't that make sense? I mean, would that be a reason to get rid of his ass? Would that be a presidential reason to get rid of him? If you're sitting around there and you're selling information to foreign countries and shit, like, I don't know. You tell me. But in any case, we know damn well that Epstein was into making some money, and he was into some video cameras and pictures and photographs, and he was into minors with a whole lot of other people.
Information. Whether this alleged reference to Trump was another attempt at leverage, a written exaggeration, or a strategic claim intended for unknown purposes may never be fully determined.
All of the above.
The very possibility of such leverage raises pressing issues about the fragility of democratic systems when influential figures operate with access to compromising.
It's done. It's done. It's a wrap. And I'm just happy to see legacy media like, Rachel Maddow, great. I love her. She's fantastic. A great reporter, right? One of the few, really, MS, They actually, for legacy media, I guess they're doing a lot more of what they should be doing than other news. CNN's just falling off. They're just having fake ass debates. It's like they're way behind the curve. But in any case, it's good to see the legacy media now is catching up to what the obvious pretty much was a year ago. Like, how can you live in a world where espionage, where blackmail is valuable shit? How could you live in a world where suddenly you would assume that, yeah, but nobody into espionage would want to know about Epstein or Trump? Like, no. No foreign agents around them. No foreign agents around them. What could they do with any information about that? I mean, even if they didn't give the information over themselves, even if they're not involved in the espionage themselves, what if they're just involved in taking the pictures, doing the acts, taking the pictures, keeping the secrets, all categorized and shit in files? What if they just doing that for fun, right? 1,000 times with 1,000 different girls, right? What if they just doing that? I'm sorry. There's no way in hell any other person, any other government would not be sending out spies to hang out with you. to just kick it around you. You know what I'm saying? To maybe try to get through use some electronic devices to get into your shit and get that information. Maybe smooth you over. Maybe learn how to crack your safe. Maybe learn how to get into your place, and crack the security codes to your own home. Maybe get into your own camera system. Who knows? Who knows? That's what they do all the time. People have special tools. Spies get special tools. So it's it's illogical to think that other governments wouldn't know that. And again, you cannot function with this kind of shit, anything like it. The mere topic itself means you're fucked. It means you have no control over your government, because the people that have the rest of these files are using it to get their way and have been using it to get their way and been doing it for some time already, some years likely. You see what I mean? Like, this is bad. This is just bad for any person, Republican, Democrat. This is bad for any citizen. And if you think your tax dollars can work for you in this kind of situation, wrong. You're just paying for the bullshit right now.
Hidden information. There is a reason the public remains magnetically pulled to the story. It sits at a volatile intersection between power, justice, media, and the lingering fear that some of the most consequential truths about globally influential individuals remain buried. Every time new Epstein-related material surfaces, even in fragmentary form, it revives the same haunting question: if there was more to know, why has it not been brought to light? The alleged claim about Trump intensifies that question, ensuring that this story will not fade easily from the national conversation.
All right, y'all. Do me a favor. Click the like button if you haven't clicked it already. I appreciate that. Now, Rachel goes on, let me see here. What is this? Right. Here we go. Look at this. This is crazy. She gets right into what I'm talking about.
Trump, does that information still exist somewhere waiting to be found? The line between responsible skepticism and institutional doubt becomes thinner each time another piece of Epstein-related information surfaces without full explanation.
Oh, right. But in any case, so we already reviewed. They've already discussed this shit, and I'm not happy with how they discussed it anymore, because this just is, in my mind, this is almost like they knew these Epstein files were coming out. They knew how bad they were, and they gave Trump this little gift to be able to maneuver with, to basically a pass to murder. You know what I'm saying? A pass to get past this Epstein shit, and it almost looks like, I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm just saying it almost looks like they knew Trump was in trouble with Epstein, and therefore this is probably a good idea to have immunity as a president, so that you can't be affected by it. Now, it still doesn't explain, like, what the hell was the Biden administration doing with these files? Like, I'm sorry, but these kind of files, even if you're not the type of president that doesn't interfere in justice, I get that and I respect that and I understand it. You know, equal branches of government, but also what the president has been. The president in the past has been that the executive branch doesn't cross over to start telling the federal, the FBI and the DOJ who to prosecute or what to do. It doesn't work that way. It goes the other way. They come to the president or just prosecute. You see what I mean? If it's a matter of national defense, then that's something else, but you can still go around that, right? My thoughts are, nah, man, the Department of Justice slept under Biden. I mean, it's nothing personal, but in my view, Garland and all, and just the entire thing, I'm sorry, you guys slept. You guys let a national security threat take over the fucking government. You let danger, you allowed the American people to be put in danger, So the only thing that I hope that they do care about is that they see where the danger was now, where they see why, taking action beats not taking action. Because, yeah, you took action, but, this shit is too dirty. This is too big of a scandal to not have been known about. This is a damaging skid. If there was any other scandal, this is one that you would want to handle, on day one. And I don't know what was behind that, like not doing anything about it. But, it's very clear that it wasn't enough. That Justice Department under Biden should have prosecuted this fucking shit. Like, that's what you're paid for, man. You're paid for. I'm not talking to Biden. I'm just talking about the entire Justice Department. You're paid by the taxpayers. You're paid by the taxpayers. I mean, who fucking cares if MAGA was upset? Who fucking cares? Who cares if they're upset? That doesn't change shit. This is devastating to the U.S.
Not official acts. That's private conduct.
Okay, it's not.
Appointment would not be.
Yo, do me a favor. Click the like button, yo. I hate to say that, but it's always like 300, 400 people watching and 50, 20, 30 likes. Come on, y'all. Let's help it get out the algorithm so we can have more real conversations like this. Listen, or you can not click the motherfucking like button. Don't click it because I'm going to tell you, I know what the hell I'm doing. You see what I mean? And once I get to where I'm going to, don't expect me to be, just wasting my time. Like, so if you like the programming, click the like button.
Would be essentially an unrestrictable power of this court that Congress couldn't directly regulate.
It's not, accepting the bribe isn't an official act, but appointing an ambassador is certainly within the official responsibilities of the president. So how does your... And
you failed too. Whoever the hell this is. This is Roberts. Yeah, Roberts, you failed also. This is also your fault.
Official acts or the official acts boundary.
He needs to be impeached. Soon as there's a supermajority in the House and in the Senate, he needs to be impeached. He was down with Trump. He let this bullshit with immunity. Like, who the hell gives a Jeffrey Epstein's best buddy fucking immunity? A guy who's hanging out with the most prolific fucking pedophile in the country. You give that person immunity? There is no excuse. You may have this Roberts may have convinced himself by being an asshole that somehow there's a legal justification for that. No, there never is. Okay? Use your gut instinct for once. Bad is bad. Okay? You're supposed to protect. You're the Supreme Court. You're supposed to protect the American fucking people. That's the point of the Constitution. You're not supposed to just follow it to the point where it says, oh, well, by the way, can a pedophile trafficker become president of the United States and blackmail and kill all the people he wants and rape all the people? Oh, let's see what the Constitution says. What the fuck? Side against it. Okay? Find a reason and side against it. What the fuck, man?
Come into play when it's...
Because you ain't going to have a country. You ain't going to have taxpayers paying you because you can lose your motherfucking job too. You can lose your pension. Everybody, come out to vote. Vote for him to lose his pension. Vote for him to lose his job. That's how you have to take your vote because it's your taxpayer. It's your dollars. It's your blood, sweat, and tears. You think he's going to fucking Walmart standing on his feet all goddamn day? Hell fucking no. He's sitting on his ass all day like a fucking asshole. Reading a fucking book I can fucking read. I know how to read. What the fuck? Give me the job. Okay? What the fuck, man? There ain't no special. You can be a bum off the motherfucking street and get this job. Okay? This is not like somebody else's job where you have to have all of this shit. You don't have to have no. You already see it's people being appointed that don't have no goddamn. Yo, that's another thing that has to be changed. But you see, when that happens, this is what you get. You see bad standards.
Going to be official, assuming that the president is innocent. But the whole question is whether he's going to be found innocent or guilty.
Keep in mind who they're talking about. They're talking about the guy whose best friend is the most prolific pedophile in the whole country and sex trafficker. That just matters if he's innocent or guilty. It depends on that, doesn't it? Doesn't it depend on that? No.
Play when it's going to be
because maybe he could have done it even if he's not found guilty. Okay.
Official, assuming that the president is innocent. But the whole question is whether he's going to be found innocent or guilty.
Again, I think Brewster and Johnson do address that.
Anyway. Okay, that was just to give an example. Let's get on to my man here, Michael Wolff.
That the underage girls in and out is obviously, of course he will. He's called it again and again. Everything.
What do you mean?
Here we go. Sorry
the
about
smoking gun. This is what.
Okay.
Both of these men, in every aspect of each other's lives, sharing girlfriends in their financial lives. Now, this is to me, and this is a moment which I think we ought to pause because I think we're very close to the smoking gun. This is what is not only implied in my emails, but in other emails that Epstein has sent.
And by the smoking gun, what do you mean?
Well, the relationship, and remember, Donald Trump has denied this relationship. Oh, Epstein, passed him in the hall.
Well, he's calling it a democratic hoax again. He just
which
all a democratic hoax.
Of course he will. He's called it again and again. Everything is a hoax. Everything in his life he doesn't like is a hoax. But the smoking gun is obviously, has Donald Trump been involved with Jeffrey Epstein and underage girls? Did Donald Trump know about Jeffrey Epstein's, that the underage girls in and out of Epstein's house? Now, I have spoken here and in many other places about the photographs that I have seen. And Epstein, in one of these emails, confirms or says Trump knew about the girls. And he damn well did. I have seen the pictures of the girls, again, a dozen snapshots, 3 of which I vividly remember, 2 with topless girls sitting on Donald Trump's lap.
Okay, there's another one I wanted to read to you here, which was came out in October of.
Notice he uses the words girl. Not that y'all missed that or anything like that, but I just wanted to denote it. He uses the word girls, not women, girls.
Again, a dozen snapshots, 3 of which I vividly remember, 2 with topless girls sitting on Donald Trump's lap.
Okay, there's another one I wanted to read to you here, which was came out in October of 2016, so just before he was being elected. There's an opportunity to come forward this week and talk about Trump in such a way that could garner you great sympathy and help finish him. Interested?
You know, one of the things that I was focused on is trying to get Epstein to come forward. Why don't you go public with these pictures? Why don't you go public? Let me help you go public in telling your story about Donald Trump. I mean, I saw then, as I have continued to see and see every day now, that Donald Trump was unfit to be the president of the United States.
So blue sky and...
I mean, that's the understatement of the world. You know, that's the that's the understatement. I don't, you know, and listening to this guy, he's very, very conservative in his speech. Like, you know, now that when I listen to this guy, I understand, number one, he is a journalist. Number two, he knows the law, what you can say and not say. And, you know, I do believe, I don't know how many of you have been watching, but I do believe that when people heighten their language, like even in the media has heightened their language. I'm not talking about Michael Wolff. He hasn't. His language is very neutral. And that's something you have to monitor, because when somebody's using neutral language, but what they say typically tends to be true, right? Then you have to almost guess that it's worse than what you might imagine, you know, even when it's true. You see what I mean? And I have a suspicion that he knows more. Like, he's talking about this thing about the girls, but it may not be the worst of it. It may not be the worst of it. It may just be, if you actually really do go down that line and just follow and get access to these files, which the girls are pretty much the lane people can use to get access to the files. What's in those files might be a lot worse than just about these girls. Like, that's basic. That's very obvious. Like, in so many ways, what's in those files may extend way past just what happened to these girls. You know, it could be what they were used for and who else knew about it, who was involved, but also who else had this information. Because you got to understand, this is 20 years. This is going back. So what were they using this information for? Who was getting blackmailed? Who was blackmailing others? You know, it's, you know, those are, in my mind, that's what I would be wanting to know. And if you don't release those Epstein files, the public will never know. You see what I mean? And it's your tax dollars that's paying for it to be kept in the FBI office.
X and social media is full of journalists just saying this is completely unacceptable. This is not how you speak to a source. This is not what journalism is.
Well, these are not people who have written the kind of books that I have written, and you know, and I often make the distinction between journalists who do what they do, daily reporters working.
Right. So in any case, he's led people to this. Now, this is Epstein's brother, right? And this is on the Don Lemon show. This was like, when was this? A week ago, something like that, a month ago. This was some time back. Let me see here. The 11th. This is earlier this summer, right? In July. But listen, he plainly says he believes he plainly says he would not be surprised if Trump was the one who killed his brother.
A funny guy, you know, so they were good friends. I only saw them both together once when I flew up from Florida with them on Jeffrey's plane once. So I don't have a lot of experience with them, with other people around, but they were good friends.
So, but Mark, let's be honest about this, all right? Because we're all adults here. When you say dirt, it would have to do with something that has to do with, you know, either trafficking or SA, as we call it, assault, and young people, young girls. That's the accusations. Do you believe that?
Because that's a possibility. It could also mean stuff in the business realm. Like I said, I don't know. Jeffrey didn't tell me. And as I've been saying for almost 6 years, I don't like to speculate. I like to stick with facts.
Mm-hmm. And you said it could be something in the business realm, or it could be something to do with that, right?
Well, it could be anything. I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to start listing possibilities. That's not my job.
But that's a lot to say that you are, that this person, well, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, your brother, did die, or as you say, was murdered. That's according to you.
All right, listen up.
He did die when Donald Trump was president.
Correct.
Yep.
And there will, and somehow this became Joe Biden's fault.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm not sure how that became Joe Biden's fault when it happened under Donald Trump when he died. And somehow it became Joe Biden's fault. And now they have released the papers, and they're saying the papers were at the Southern District of New York, and I've got all this stuff, and there's a lot of dirt and whatever. And then all of a sudden there's nothing. And now you have the deputy head of the FBI saying, I may resign because the Attorney General of the United States is not releasing all the information that he believes is pertinent. That's pretty big, Mark. Come on.
I believe it is pretty big, but that's not what I'm interested in. That's the case. That's, look, nothing's going to bring my brother back. So I'm not worried, looking at that possibility. And the stuff about the case and what the intricacies of the government actions is not what I'm concerned about for my brother's sake, because that's what I'm concerned about is the circumstances of what I believe to be his murder. Look, was also, Jeffrey.
Yes, exactly. So he believes his brother was definitely murdered, right? I mean, that's not breaking news. People, he said this some time back, right? But now let's listen to him go on to say that he wouldn't even be surprised if it was Trump. And I have to say, when people use that conservative language, again, it means it means that exactly what it means. Like Trump, I think Trump did it. I think Trump did it. I think Trump did it. And, this has got to be, I'm sorry, but there's no way in hell Congress, there is no responsible Congress or Senate in the United States right now. There's just not. Because the majority, this should be an easy call. This should have been an easy call. There should easily be 2/3, a supermajority in Congress and the Senate that are way over a supermajority. There should easily be way over a supermajority that already is calling for impeachment, writing it up right now in both houses. Like, there's just no way. If every single day that this guy is in office is their dereliction of duty, this is way beyond the pale. Way beyond the pale. This has caused more damage to the United States, to its people, than any other act in the last 50 years, 60 years. Like, seriously, this is back. I mean, Nixon doesn't compare with this shit. Maybe the death, obviously the assassination of JFK, yeah, that compares. But, an assassination and just all out infestation is two different things. You see what I mean? I mean, assassination, that's one act. What are the acts that went along with it? We got to, you got to see a little bit of that, right? But was that really what all to it? What happened? But in this case, the aspect of espionage, the aspect of foreign interference, foreign people having this information and blackmailing Trump, that in itself, that is way beyond the pale. You never heard anyone talk about they blackmailed Kennedy. You know what I mean? He died. So obviously that didn't happen. What about the next person? You didn't hear about this, but this is if you were worried about Marilyn Monroe, this is 1,000, 3,000 times worse in every way possible, every way, shape, or form. This is as bad as you can get. And why even wait for the files to be released? Fuck that. Why even wait? If you're in your right mind, Why do you prioritize at this point? I'm just saying now, because look at this fool. He's fighting the release. He's fighting it. So fuck that. Fuck that. You got all the time in the world to go through those files, but you don't have to wait to impeach his ass. Why the hell you got to wait to impeach? You don't have to wait to impeach. There's no excuse there. You don't have to know anything else because it's only going to get worse. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you believe Trump should be impeached now. Let me know in the chat and you could put a 1 for Trump needs to be impeached now. And let me know also in the chat if you feel like there's no excuse for any more days going on without Trump being impeached. Put a 1 if that's your thought. If that's not your thought, and I don't even need to hear from you. All right, just let me know how many 1s is in the House.
He had a hearing coming up to his bail in a few days after he died. Now, knowing my brother as I did, I would imagine he wouldn't kill himself before the bail hearing, because if he got bail, he'd be out of jail. He'd be living in his house with an ankle monitor, with armed guards, with cameras, but he wouldn't be in jail, awaiting trial. I could see if he went for the bail hearing and it was denied, and then he figured he had to spend another year in jail waiting for a trial. I could see him, taking himself out. Like I said, when I first heard that he was found dead from an apparent suicide, I had no reason to doubt that. But the next day when they did the autopsy, and both...
Somebody said, Catwalk said, how do you impeach a Supreme Court judge? Catwalk, it's the same way you impeach a congressman, a senator, or a president, or a vice president. Same thing. And also for people that really genuinely want to know, you have a supermajority. Once you have a supermajority in the House and in the Senate, whoever that supermajority is can impeach in the Congress, and in the House they can kick them out of office with the same with the second, with their impeachment articles. So that's how it works, and that means you're removing them. Now you're not just like Clinton wasn't impeached. He wasn't removed. He was just admonished. So impeaching in the House is admonishment, public, in record. Impeachment in the Senate after that admonishment is removing from office. And that goes for vice president, president, any congressional member, any senator, any Supreme Court judge, any judge. You see what I mean? Any federal judge. So just so you know.
Both professional, experienced pathologists came out of the room and said they couldn't call it a suicide because it looks too much like a homicide. That's on the initial death certificate. It's when it said cause of death, it said pending further study. And then a few days later,
somebody wrote Donald J. Trump is a man of God. Leo, no, he's a man of the devil. He's a rapist. Okay, what the hell? Are you a rapist? Because you copping for a dude that's been adjudicated as a rapist, basically. So what the hell is wrong with you, man? You copping for a 34-time felon, a man who stole taxes, tax money, evaded paying money, committed fraud on his properties, valued them differently to get through, getting money schemes and shit. Also, by the way, some of his properties, not him personally who's been charged, but some of his properties have been found to have been washing money. Just people just gone to jail, for that under Trump Enterprises or his company before, I believe, something like that. But in any case, fuck Trump. He's a devil. He's an evil man. He's a piece of shit. He's definitely not a man of God unless you are also a piece of shit. Like, what you capping for, man?
The chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson.
There's some sickos in there, man. Get out of here, man. Don't come back either, please, y'all. And also put a like. Give me a like, y'all. But please, get the hell out of here. I don't need you here. Nobody capping for no pedophiles. Leave. God damn it. Who was that? I'm about to block your ass right now. Let me see. What the hell? Who said that? Let me see something here. Where the hell is this person at? Somebody, do me a favor. Time that person out. Whoever wrote that damn thing. That is just the weirdest. Talking about Donald J. Trump as a man. Here we go. That's Leo. Okay. Here we go, Leo. Let me see. Yeah, bye. Fuck that, cause I'm not. You can't just be capping for no weirdos like that, man. Come on now, man of God, you took it too far with that one. You know what I'm saying? Something's wrong with you, Leo. You're a sicko.
Never saw the body. She was what?
Yeah, Leo's blocked, by the way. But let's get to the point. He's about to get to this point here.
Jeffrey was removed from
and I don't care whose channel this is. It's about the information. It's about what they're saying, the exact point that they're making. That's what I'm talking about, okay?
Place before she ever showed up. She declares it a suicide without giving any explanation of what further study was done to make her come to that conclusion. Again, this doesn't pass the laugh test as far as I'm concerned. There's just so much of this. And there's so much like what you might call, circumstantial evidence. But it's like the story, like if you leave your house in the morning and the streets are wet with puddles and all the cars are wet and there's water dripping from the trees, but it's not raining, you could safely assume that it was raining before you came out. You didn't see it rain, but you know it was raining. It's the same thing here. You can't have...
It's true. This is what a crime scene looks like. In other words, so you may not have seen the crime, but you're seeing a crime scene, whether you've seen the crime or not yourself. There's still the scene there. That crime scene is real, So the only reason why you're not seeing it is because you don't know what a crime scene looks like. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you have to see the body in your face. Like before you even know that a crime was there yesterday. You see what I mean? Like, that's what I was trying to say. There's so many people out here that they try to convince you that trees don't fall if you're not in the woods to see it fall. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell?
Looking too much like he was murdered. I don't know. I can't say who did it. I wasn't there. But it certainly doesn't look like a suicide.
Do you think there are too many weird coincidences of cameras going out and the video not working and, things that are being redacted, and then all of a sudden Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about it when questioned about it at a press conference?
Yeah, why not? You would think the president of the United States would want the truth to come out instead of squashing it all.
Facts. I mean, if you didn't like Biden not releasing it, then what's your motherfucking excuse? What, you going to do the same thing Biden did? Cover it up? Is that your point? And I'm only saying it that way because that's what these MAGA people, that's what Trump, look, that's what, more importantly, forget MAGA. That's what Caroline Levitt says. That's what Kash Patel says. That's what Pam Bondi says. That's what Trump said. They always say, how come Biden didn't release it? So why are you doing the same thing as Biden then if you're claiming to be different? You see how that double talk works? So the point is that there's definitely something there. And thank God that they're letting us know. Like, thank God. Thank you for letting us know, because they let people know in the just clumsiest goddamn way. They just spring all this shit on people. Like, it's like, but now that it's out there, get it away. Impeach it. Go. There's no reason why anybody have to pay for any more taxes for anyone that is not impeaching this clown and anyone standing next to him. That we're paying your bills. Get rid of this dude, like, now.
Go on.
You would think that if he wasn't involved.
Say again?
I said,
hold on.
About it at a press conference.
Yeah, why not? You would think the president of the United States would want the truth to come out instead of squashing it all.
Go on.
You would think that if he wasn't involved.
Say again?
I said, I would certainly think the president of the United States would want the truth to come out unless he was involved.
What would you say to him?
Well, I'd ask him to provide the answers to the questions we've been asking. And then, that would help a lot. And then come to some kind of determination after that. Like I said, I don't want to speculate. I like to work on facts. And I would like to get the answers to the very simple questions that we've been stymied on.
Like?
Well, like, who were the prisoners on the tier? When did they get there? And where are they now? Because we were told that a number of the prisoners were transferred off of that tier after the death.
Exactly. So, where are the prisoners? Where are the prisoners? Where are they? Who are they? I mean, are they even safe? What is their life looking like right now? Just curious. You know, that would be a good question to ask. Damn, he asked some good questions.
So let's say somebody was put in the prison in there a few days before as an inmate, but he was his real job there, some kind of covert operation to take Jeffrey out. And then he gets transferred out and he disappears into the ether.
I mean, wow. I mean, he's just putting it out there. Like, what if? And you can't, if you don't investigate that, you can't answer that question.
There a few days before as an inmate on the tier. When did they get there? Simple questions that we've been stymied on.
Like?
Well, like, who were the prisoners on the tier? When did they get there? And where are they now? Because we were told that a number of the prisoners were transferred off of that tier after the death. So let's say somebody was put in the prison in there a few days before as an inmate, but he was his real job there, some kind of covert operation to take Jeffrey out. And then he gets transferred out and he disappears into the ether. So that's why I want to know, who were the prisoners on that tier? Like I said, it's not a huge number. It's a maximum of 14, and I think it was more like 12. Who were they? When did they get there? And where are they now? Now, we know that other inmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, was there, and he was there for a long time. So he certainly wasn't planted there, knowing that Jeffrey would be there to kill him. So we can sort of scratch him off the list of someone who might have been planted there. So now we're down to 11 people. And there was another guy that was Jeffrey's roommate for a while, a cellmate for a while, and he has since passed away from natural causes. So now we're down to what?
Okay.
10 people, somewhere around there. So who are they? When did they get there? And where are they now? The Bureau of Prisons should have records of this readily available.
How is your family doing, especially when, and you specifically, because this case is in the news and then it goes away, and then you have to, push for them to release evidence and to be really transparent about what's going on. And then it comes up again, and then it goes away, and then it comes up like this again. I mean, it's got to be destabilizing, to say the least, for you.
Well, not really, because in all reality, I'm the only family. There's no other siblings. Our parents were gone for a long time. So there's no other real family that was close to Jeff that would be affected by any of this.
And so, but you?
Yes.
And you don't usually appear on camera, Mark?
I never appear on camera.
Why is that?
Because this is not about me.
Okay. Yeah, so that was Jeffrey Epstein's brother. He I do believe he goes on. I don't know. Did he say that already? That he said he's not saying it is Trump, but he wouldn't be surprised if it was. Let me see. Is that coming up? Let me just see something. I'm curious about that. Let me know. Did we already hear that part? Because he's saying so much, so I just want to make sure. And by the way, I'm listening to this live with you all. This is not something prepared. So, and I never, just for people to know, I don't prepare stuff that way. I know what the subject context is generally. That's it. I don't hear what's being said. So my reactions are live reactions. My thoughts, my reflections are live reflections, just so you know. Do me a favor, click the like button. And I'm looking at the transcript here. Y'all can't see the transcript, but let me see something. It says, along with a bunch of those podcast bros, and now they're going what? And then we are, okay. Oh, they're talking about Bonino. Okay, let me see. So they were talking about Charles. So Charles, okay, let me go back. They talking about political enemies and who we're going to finally get exposed. Okay, now let me go to this. Here we go.
by Democrats, and that the list was dominated by folks who were their political enemies.
Right. So this is the right. This is the right. You know, this is how they were doing things when they thought it was Democrats in there. Now, don't forget, don't get amnesia.
It was an appeal to the super duper alt-right folks who really have been in this sort of mode of believing that the list was dominated by Democrats, and that the list was dominated by folks who were their political enemies and who were going to finally get exposed. And so it was profitable politically for them to indulge that sort of rhetoric then.
Yeah.
But now that there's been this blanket and almost summarily dismissive attitude.
Okay, y'all, check this out. I'm going to let this play, but there is a poll in the chat. And the poll is asking folks, did the Supreme Court pass that ruling, you know, their ruling about immunity to cover up for Epstein's death? Like, is this something that they already thought of and had in mind prior to Trump taking office again? Like, or is that just one of the natural consequences? I mean, don't get me wrong, because the reason why I'm saying this is because you could see Trump in these emails. It definitely exposes one thing. And what it exposes is that Epstein was out for Trump. So that was already going on in 2016, something like that, right? So, or 15, I'm sorry, a year before he took office last time, he's already in these emails going after Trump, you know, saying he's going after Trump. Now, Trump, it's also plausible that Trump knew that somehow, because how could Epstein have access into Trump's circle and Trump didn't have no access into Epstein's circle? You know, that doesn't make sense. So he had to know, especially when Epstein is emailing openly to people, telling people he's coming after. I got the goods on Trump. I mean, come on. You send that in the email. Come on. If there's espionage going on, if somebody's spying on you, maybe they got that email too. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, there's a lot of ways where other people could have known, including Trump, that Epstein was coming after him. Epstein died. When Trump got in office, he prosecuted Epstein, not prosecuted him, but he indicted him, right, under the Trump administration, and then he dies, right? So my thought is like this. If all of this was happening back then and people just found out it after the fact, right? All these things people are just finding out about what was going on, really, due to the emails, right? What about the Supreme Court? How much did the Supreme Court know about this Epstein case before they passed the ruling for immunity for Trump, which is the first time a president in the United States has had this type of immunity? I mean, think about that question I'm asking. Did the Supreme Court in advance of their ruling know anything about these Epstein files? Maybe that's a better way of saying it. If the Supreme Court, in your view, knew something about this shit, this dirt, like the stuff we're seeing today, did they know about these things, some of these things back then, prior to giving their ruling on Trump to give him immunity? If you think he did. If you think the Supreme Court did, I'm sorry, not he, but them, or some of them, put a 1 in the chat. If you do not, put a 2 in the chat. And it's the same thing. This poll is really asking the same thing. You could click the poll too. You could do both. Do me that favor and click the like button. Thank you.
Toward this entire list, that section, that fragment of MAGA and everyone who they supported are feeling betrayed, and they're asking questions, and they're not willing to let this go as easily as other folks within the party would like, and that's where the rift is occurring. I don't know that they will be so easily able to reconcile this list, given how much they invested into pushing this early on, and now it's starting to bite them in the behind.
Yeah, look, and
okay, so that bit them in the behind, of course. Now let me see here. Let me go a little further. Now here's Caroline Schmerline, Lion-ass Levitt, right? And this is her bullshit. She got some talk.
Filed a lawsuit against the BBC.
Oh, right. Trump is he's out there suing people, but she's about to break down something in the Epstein thing. So
expect that to continue.
This is from yesterday.
And whether they
or 4 days ago, I'm sorry.
Apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev.
My observations about her is she sounds so defensive whenever she talks. She sounds like a person always reacting to a accusation and is almost guilty, you know, just put on the defensive. Her normal speech, I don't think it's normal speech. I think she just feels that way. And, you know, I don't blame her for feeling that way because, yeah, people don't trust her ass and they don't trust President Trump, you know?
Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
Maybe she's not good at hiding it, you know?
I have your statement about
She'll gaslight the hell out of people, though.
the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that
I love that statement. You know, imagine going into court, just that's your only answer. That she may as well say, I plead the fifth. Because that's what that answer does. These emails prove nothing. God damn, we asking you for more than that. She's just like, it proves nothing.
Address their substance. Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
Okay, one question. Did she answer the question? No.
these emails.
She goes to these emails mean nothing. So in other words, what she's saying is, yes, he did.
That have been
She can't even just answer so you can get to ask your follow-up question and shit. It's
released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president
Can you address their substance?
ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other
Not an answer.
than the fact that President
We didn't ask you if they prove anything.
Trump did nothing wrong.
We didn't ask you if he did anything wrong. Let's go hear the question again. She's answering the wrong goddamn questions.
And whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your
This is a expert lesson in lying. Just flat out lying. She's not even making an effort to be like, she could, if she had a translator, she could be like, why the hell are you asking me? Who do you think you are? You ain't nobody.
statement about the
That's basically what she's doing.
Epstein emails
Shit, don't ask me that shit.
that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe
She getting paid off taxpayer dollars too.
the emails were made public, can you address
She's eating off your money. You go to work. Every hour you're at work. Some of you all dig ditches. Some of you all, carry packages. Some of you all standing on your feet teaching in the class, right? Some of you are teachers. Some of you are lawyers. Some of you are doctors. Some of you are, construction workers. Some of you are, y'all doing a whole lot out there, right? Some of you are working for different, just the community, just different things, right? She's getting paid. Every day you check in, you're paying her to answer questions. And this is what she got for you.
their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
I wish I could do that. Every time somebody asks me, hey, man, did you do this? What the fuck? I'm going to be like, it proves nothing.
And
your statement proves nothing. Your statement proves nothing. It proves nothing. It proves no matter what they ask. Did you leave this over here? Your statement means nothing.
What President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein.
Why does this sound guilty? See what I mean by the defensiveness? Is it just me? But this is not professional because she could do a better job. She could do a better job lying. She could do a better job lying. This is not a good job.
Thing other than the
Look at this.
Address their substance. New Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance?
She answers it like it's a personal question and shit. She's all defensive.
Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. In this email you refer to...
I mean, she makes it sound like that's good. It doesn't even matter if that's true. That ain't good. You had a pedophile at your motherfucking place. I mean, she just admits that. Like, a pedophile was hanging out at Trump's place. You know that? Did you know that? Pedophile hanging out at Mar-a-Lago? Did you know that's where the pedophiles go? Mar-a-Lago, y'all? Did y'all all know? And when he found out, he kicked the pedophile out. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, and how long did it take? How long did that take? How long did it take the pedophile to get kicked out of Mar-a-Lago? How many years? The clock is ticking. And even more, she's saying this, right, while she's being paid. Nice jacket, by the way. But that jacket is paid for by taxpayer dollars, likely. People like you, all that listen, right? She is there capping, saying all of this when she knows the dude was already hanging out after. He's with Jeffrey Epstein is talking about in the same emails that she's commenting to. Jeffrey Epstein is like, man, I was at Trump's for Thanksgiving. You know, that turkey was damn good. I was here with him after that. I was here with them after that. And she's she's just commenting this way, like she's totally unaware of it.
Ever spent hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing
Not a good liar.
other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. In this email...
It's not even like he kicked him out because he got drunk one day and just started acting. She's like, no, he kicked him out because he knew. Trump knew he was a pedophile and a creep. There's some bullshit. That's a horrible excuse. You hear this? This lady's dumb. Like, that's her. And people have been talked down to. They've been gaslighted by her so much. That shit just is standard. They're just like, yeah, Trump kicked him out because the dude was a pedophile, you know, and a thief. Okay, damn, you know a pedophile and a thief, dude? Like, what the fuck? You got pedophiles and thieves hanging out in your spot, your crib, your home, your house, It's like, damn, that is a low bar. Who else you got? You got motherfuckers in there shooting up heroin and shit. What else you got going on there? Fuck it. Is sex trafficking going on in there? That's a good question, because if a pedophile and thief was hanging out in your crib, what the fuck else is going on?
You refer out. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago. The fact that President Trump... These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
What was he when he got kicked? Why did he get kicked out?
Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Yeah, so he kicked him out officially, according to Caroline Lyon-ass Levitt, because Trump kicked him out because Epstein was a pedophile and thief. That is the reason Trump kicked him out, because Epstein was a pedophile and thief. And how did Trump know that?
In this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that
they don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, that was speculation, actually. You know, this thing that I never saw Epstein mention her name regarding that. Right? I mean, have you put a one in the chat, y'all? Or if you saw Epstein in his emails, if you saw somewhere where they mentioned Giuffre, Virginia was with Trump for those hours, is that true? Is that who they're talking about? Right? And I'm just curious about that. But even if it is, because it's not called molestation for nothing. It's not called molestation for nothing. It's not like all those acts start off like maybe he was on his way to getting with her. Maybe maybe it's just for some reason it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that could be. You see what I mean? Then secondly, if this is something for MAGA people to think about, well, isn't that what someone also said about Bill Clinton? So if it doesn't change your, if that doesn't piss you off about Bill Clinton, I mean, you don't have to trust that somebody said that about Bill Clinton. He was always a nice guy. You don't have to trust that that's what was going on. But if you don't trust Bill Clinton, why would you trust Trump with the same logic? You see what I mean? So
she maintained,
but it doesn't matter. He already knew he got kicked out because he was a pedophile and a thief. That's what she says. So
that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party.
So the girl that Epstein was trafficking said that Trump was always professional and kind. The girl Epstein was trafficking in his house, in Epstein's house. I believe it was Epstein's house. So, I mean, again, no matter how you cut it, that just sounds like you were trying to get down with her and you knew what the scam was and you knew you got to spend a little bit of time and then you will just jump. You know what I'm saying? You will get what you want. That does 4 hours? Like, come on, man. You meeting a dude who's a pedophile and a trafficker and he got girls and you're there with the girl. What the fuck you think was going on? Like that to me, this bullshit right here. I don't understand it. They have to be impeached. This woman is an embarrassment to the United States of America. And it's not her fault. Although a lot of people would have been like, fuck no, I'm not capping for no goddamn pedo, right? A lot of people would be like, I'm not going to take this job. His friend is the pedo. You know what I'm saying? There's something not right here. A lot of people would be like, fuck that. My reputation can't handle that. But she wasn't that type. She was the type that was like, I'm going to cap for him, and that's a judgment call. Everybody wouldn't do that. Everybody wouldn't do that. That's her own judgment call. This is an embarrassment. There's no way you can cut it. This does nothing but harm the reputation of the United States. People are laughing. People should laugh. Any normal, logical, rational type of people that have a decent life, that have a quality life, that will call their life quality in any country in the world, damn sure you couldn't have it if you have this bozo shit going on. You know that.
Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
That's what I mean. If the name's redacted, I don't get that. Is it, let me see in the chat. Was it her? Has it been confirmed that it's her? Who confirmed that? I'm just curious. Let me look at the chat, by the way. Hold on. Never, false, never happened at Epstein's house. No, Maxwell said Trump was a good guy, right? Maxwell said that too, exactly. Let me see here. Somebody said, host, bet your name is there. Okay, well, if that's what you think, go for it. Do you want the files released or not then? You still want them secret? In any case, that's she's saying creep, not that. Okay. She's saying creep, not thief. Oh, okay. Is she saying creep? Okay. Well, it's the same thing. She said, fuck what he said, thief or creep. She said pedophile. And that means the pedophile's hanging out in this dude. What if the pedophile was hanging out at your house? Would that be cool? What would you be? I mean, I'm sorry, but you gotta You got to work hard for that title. You know, that's not just incidental. You know, that didn't just happen because he was hanging out with the pedophile one day. He was with the pedophile a whole lot of days, even Thanksgiving after this day. You know what I'm saying? What is this? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. R.I.P. Virginia. Yes, indeed. R.I.P. to her. You know, that's the world. You know, these people, cruel people, all of them cruel. All of them cruel. And her family have to watch this. This is a nightmare because it shows you there's no justice. Not even for acts like this. Not for pedophilia. Not when it comes to rich folk. Rich folk in U.S. get away with raping people. You know what I'm saying? And no, there isn't justice. You see what I mean? And this goes all the way up to the Supreme Court. The answer is no. There's a problem in the U.S. And justice is one of the fucking problems. You know, the lack of justice on a whole heaping lot of different levels. But this is just bleeding that statement. You know, if you can lack justice on this level, oh, you lack it in a whole lot of ways.
Mary. Thank you, Kevin. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency,
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Click the like button for me. Thank you.
why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency
Here we go again.
when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration.
I didn't fucking pay you to be gaslit. God damn.
Ever.
On this. In the interest of
Who is she trying to fool? Everybody knows she lying. There's no point, but she's still putting effort. Stop.
transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files?
It doesn't even look real, so stop fucking acting. Like, damn.
On Epstein, get this all over with.
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no
listen, this is ridiculous. So with all this information out there, in her mind, in her wisdom, this is all a distraction, y'all. They're just trying to distract from how great the unprecedented term and positive start this president has had over the last. So in other words, all of this is just a hoax. She is saying it too. It's all a hoax. You know, look, man. You know, and she's doing it with a smile. She's doing it with a smile. She's doing it with a smile. I'm sorry, but this is your taxpayer dollars, you know. This is people's real life. She's smiling while people went out and worked, did all kinds of hard jobs, you know, all types of hard jobs, just to have her sit there and laugh at people. Like, this is the worst. This is the worst representation people can get for their dollar. Like, this is not even a real attempt at being accountable. You know, this subject matter is little girls being sex trafficked, enslaved in slavery. Repeatedly. People have died. People have committed suicide. People have given up And this is what she got. This is what she got for them. Look, sunny day outside, hey, anybody want some candy? Candy for everybody. Like, sun is shining. Everybody's doing fine, Like, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. I don't know why she does it, but she needs to stop. She needs to stop because she's going down in history with this guy, Trump. Her and Trump will be inseparable. Everyone will know that she didn't have a stop point, a point where she could say, you know what? I'm sorry. I just can't do this. This is just too wrong.
People, we are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts.
What is she talking? They fought it tooth and nail. Trump sat up there and said, don't. He went to war. He told people this was war. He told people this was war. He told people, Republicans, this is war. Do not sign it. And she's sitting there now talking about like nobody remembers that.
Cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any.
The judge said everything that is in those files, grand jury files, are in the Epstein files, and the files the government already has, and more. That's what the judge said. So they said the judge doesn't even need to rule. That's what the judge said. I don't need to rule on this because you have all the files anyway, and you can release it yourself. You can make your own discernment about that legally.
It just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party.
Like, she's on record saying this. Democrat hoax. This is a hoax. She is a woman saying this to other women. Like, does she even have a child? Does she have a child? Does she have a daughter? Like, I'm sorry. There's a point where you don't do this anymore, where you just don't cap. There's a point where you don't cap for this. This is wrong. This is just wrong. This is definitely something's wrong in her fucking brain. Like, nobody that believes in anything, any type of karma or like doing good to others, doing kind to others, does what she's doing. I mean, and you can believe that because Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't the nicest lady.
For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden.
There's just another one.
Because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump.
So that's the reason why you don't want to release them. That's the reason why you're not going to release them. That's the reason why it's still waiting around to get them released, y'all, because of Joe Biden. That's why. She can't release them. No. Joe Biden's still the president. So it's not going to get released because if Trump was president, he would have released it already. Right?
As we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence.
Hey, everybody, thank Bits for the memberships, for the free memberships, y'all. And thank you, Bits. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody, say thanks to Bits because we're going to be doing some live streaming, private streaming soon. So big up to Bits. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans
like that's a big scandal.
Reopening the government.
They leaked
This is another
emails.
distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why.
Look, it don't even make any goddamn sense. on one hand, she's like, we released all the shit. Biden didn't release it. And then in the next statement, she's complaining about Democrats releasing new shit. They leaked them, y'all. They leaked them. Yeah. That's what we want. We want people to leak. We want you to leak. Can you leak for us? Goddamn. Like, you're getting paid. You're getting our money. Can you leak the fucking files? Can you release the files? Goddamn.
I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening.
I'm being asked questions. Y'all, you don't say? Someone has fucking died, okay, in a prison, okay? Thousands of girls have been molested and trafficked, okay? She's acting like that's like there's something you're not supposed to be asking.
Democrats leaked these emails to
That's like a bad thing. Democrats leaked these emails. Yeah, and so fucking what? So what? They're our emails. They belong to the American people now. It's our property. What the fuck?
the fake news. It's not a coincidence to the American people at home.
And you held the snap. What the hell? It's you who held the snap, too. They have a habit of doing that and then blaming it on the Democrats, too.
There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government.
You see this stupid-ass lie? She even knows it's a stupid lie. She's laughing while she's saying it. It's like, what is funny?
Entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening.
Look at that. What is that laughing about? What is that about?
Coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
This is the biggest bullshit story on earth, and she's not good at doing it. No one believes her. It's an insult to the American people. She's getting your tax dollars. Everybody that has a job, this is what she's doing with your tax dollars. Some of you serve coffee and lunch or waiters. This is what she's doing with your tax dollars. Some of you work on construction sites, you know. Some of you work in shipping companies and things like this. Some of you are teachers. Some of you are, it doesn't matter where you are, but a lot of people work a lot of hard jobs. Some of you work 3 jobs to pay for her fucking ass to sit up here and lie and smile in your face, like just keep that in mind. Like, get rid of these people. Just don't pay their salary. Look, there's going to be plenty of whack ass people on earth, but that doesn't mean you have to fucking pay their salary. That's where the insult comes in. You see, if you weren't paying their salary, they wouldn't be shit anyway. I'm just telling you, there's nothing special about her. She's not a fucking genius. She's a liar. And you're paying her. That's scamming.
Reagan. In transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please?
Why do you need to brief? Why not just release the files?
Doesn't that show our level?
I mean, shouldn't Biden have released the files? Or should Biden have kept them a secret? Put a 1 in the chat if Biden should have kept the files a secret. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's okay, because that's strange. I'm a Democrat and I don't think that was okay. Not in retrospect, and now is retrospect. So if you think Biden should have released those files, put a 1 in the chat. Right? As a matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you think Biden or Trump should have released the files. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't care. Just everybody should have released them. Any president should have ordered their DOJ to release the files. If that's how you feel, put a 1 in the chat. Put something else in the chat if you disagree, all right?
Level of transparency, doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns?
No, it doesn't. It shows you covering the shit up and taking advantage of the taxpayers.
That's a defining
Look,
fact.
you see that? That's what I'm trying to say. Who takes this? Who takes this? Look, again, if she was talking about money that you gave her and she was explaining to you why she don't have your money, and she's doing this all in her comments.
Our level of transparency, doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That is the willing to sit down with
Look at that. Look at that. What is this? Why is she even having fun about this?
members of Congress and address their concerns? That is that's a defining factor of transparency. Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room in the press briefing.
Release the files. None of that shit count. None of that shit count. Those are our files. She still got an excuse on why she's withholding the files, you know, and at the taxpayer's expense. You know, MAGA, you paid for this. You pay out of your taxes. You know, I mean, this is the same woman that capped for Trump withholding, what do they call it? SNAP, right? This is the same person, you know, the same person that's capping for the person that if you had a disaster tomorrow, the president would be sitting back going, nanny boo boo, I have your federal assistance money. I may not give it to you if you don't show me I'm king. If you don't kiss my ass enough, I'm going to hold this over your head, even though you paid your taxes on it already. Fuck it. This is who she caps for, you know? So now let's see here. Let's go.
Donald Trump has asked his country's top law enforcers to investigate the relationship.
Yeah, this is where we at now. So now that we heard all the other shit, this is the solution for Trump. His solution is prosecute everybody. Because they coming for me. So prosecute them all first because they coming for me, because everyone knows it looks like I murdered Epstein. Yes. So now, fuck it. I mean, doesn't this kind of look like projection? Like, boo-hoo, everybody knows what I did. And since I'm this type of person, I'm going to prosecute everybody else because of the type of person I am, because I'm this filthy dude that has done all this criminal, nasty shit. Because of that, I have to prosecute everyone else. How dare you prosecute me for being a weirdo? How dare you prosecute me for hanging out with pedophiles a lot, a whole lot? You know, you think my reputation stinks? I'm going to prosecute you for what? Mortgage fraud. I'm going to prosecute you for mortgage fraud. Even though it's not going to work, I'm going to prosecute you anyway. I mean, this is how pathetic it has gotten. Look at this dude's face, man. He don't even look like he's happy. You know what I'm saying? And look at Howard Lutnick's face. Hold on now. That ain't Howard Lutnick. Let's just look around the room at these people. Look at Trump's face. Trump does not look too happy at all. And nobody else looks happy in the room. They all look like, damn, what am I watching here? Let's see. Who else? Let's look at Lindsey punk ass Graham, Pam Bondi. And who was that? Scott, who was that? The dude in the back? Scott something? Or what's his name? Who's the guy, the Treasury dude in the back? Let me see Lindsey Graham's fucking ass. I can't stand him. Or Pam Bondi. I mean, I can't stand none of them for real. They can all fuck off if you ask me. But here, let's get a closer look. Boom, boom, lying ass. Ooh, she doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not exaggerating. They don't look happy. They don't fucking look happy. You can't see it? Hold on. Can you see it now? Put a 1 in the chat if you could see this. This is Pam Bondi, Lindsey Graham, and somebody else in the back. Put a 1 in the chat. Just let me know if you can see this. I mean, I can see it. So, and I'm watching it also on my phone at the same time. So I can see it through my phone. I can see the broadcast. Look at this. Yeah, they look defeated. This is a very interesting look. Let's pan around the room. There's not one person that doesn't look like, oh shit, you know, this is not going to turn out well. Not one person. There's not one person in the room. Damn, he even looks even more fucking. Look at this guy's face. He looks like. Yo, click the like button, y'all. Please click the like button. This some bullshit. Nobody looks too confident today. I wonder what the hell is going on. We're about to find out. This dude's face is just like everyone looks disgusted. Everyone looks like this is the worst day of their life. Oh, look at, I don't know. Look at her. What is this? Is this just her ability to be fake? Another Caroline Levitt smiling and shit. Okay, but in any case, let's center back on Trump. Look at his ugly ass face. He's got the worst face of all. Look. I mean, is this what it looks like when you caught of pedophilia and you try to be the president? Is this what it looks like? When you cold busted? Is this what it looks like when you killed Jeffrey Epstein? Is this the face? Damn, this is not looking good at all. This is looking horrible, yo. All right, now let's take a listen. Maybe it sounds worse than it looks. I mean, sounds better than it looks. Let's see.
Between sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and former President Bill Clinton. Live now to US correspondent Rob
teeth,
Scott. Rob, this is just the latest escalation in a scandal that won't go away.
Yeah, that's right, Eddie. And look, it's a big shift in direction from Donald Trump, who, as we know, has spent the better part of the last few months.
I'm sorry. I see. Let me bring the image back down. I didn't realize it was still large. Yeah, this is not looking good for Trump. But apparently he wants to prosecute everybody. You, me. Trump's trying to he's an authoritarian. You know, he wants to just, if there's something he doesn't like, prosecute it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the guy, man. He's up on that. This is how he does business. And yeah, I don't really know how to defend it myself. I don't think it's defendable. You know, really, if you ask me, I don't think it's something you can defend. But I think you just look a fool trying to defend it. You know, basically that's what you accomplish. But here he's gonna say some words. Let's listen.
It's trying to get people to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Every time his name is raised or the story is brought up, he says it's nothing but a Democrat hoax. But it looks as though now he is trying to control the narrative.
How could it be a Democrat hoax? And now he's trying to prosecute people for being connected to Epstein. I mean, this is not looking good. This is looking very, very bad.
Narrative more with this investigation after thousands of emails from Epstein's estate were released by US lawmakers this week. The first three of those came from the Democrats, seeming to suggest that Donald Trump may know a lot more about Epstein's crimes that he has let on. And so he's ordered the US Justice Department and the FBI to investigate links.
All bad. What does it say? If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think? Yeah. And this dude actually gave answers after this was written that sound a lot like what they were suggesting, verbatim. Like, this is bizarre. It's not even bizarre because it basically people have figured out what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it is bizarre in the sense that you would never expect to see someone being this goddamn exposed in the public. Who only a sick person could want to do this. And you know something? I'm starting to believe, like, if people just start like, this shit is so bad, he would never want to be president, because the longer he stays in the White House, the more this information is going to come out and the more embarrassing it's going to be for him. Like, I'm sure some people thought that, but Trump, he's so sick, he doesn't get that point. He still wanted the money, but he's willing to go after all of the, experience in camera, in real time, all of his dirty secrets being exposed. It doesn't get any worse than this. This is horrible.
between Epstein and high-profile Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton. Writing on Truth Social today, records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned.
Right. So now he's saying it's not an Epstein hoax. He's saying it's not a Democrat hoax now. That's weird. Like, it just doesn't absolve him. There's nothing that he's doing that absolves him. Everything that he's doing only says, okay, so, like, why don't you just release the files?
And so, look, in the past couple of hours...
Look, if they've done some crimes, think about this. They've had the files for how long now? How long have they had these files? For how many months? For 8 months? Why the fuck didn't they already prosecute people if they committed crimes? Like, why didn't they? Why didn't they? They're the ones that can prosecute. Why are they talking about it? If there's a crime, why didn't they charge people already? What's up with that? Makes no sense. That lets you know pretty much there's no crime for these people, because the DOJ, obviously the one that was sworn in to do Trump's bidding, the one that was sworn in talking about, yeah, it looks bad for Bill Clinton. Yeah, y'all, that's right. It looks bad for Bill Clinton. So they didn't prosecute him if he committed a crime? Like, that makes no sense at all. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it makes sense that they haven't prosecuted anybody else that they're claiming has something to do with the Epstein files. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it makes perfect sense that they wouldn't have done that. I want to see who goes along with this kind of weird shit. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it makes perfect sense that they didn't prosecute anybody that has anything to do with the Epstein files after 8 months. Do you think that makes sense? Let me see here. Who else? Who else? Who thinks it makes sense? I mean, I'm curious. You know, I'm really curious because the shit don't make sense to me at all. Look at this. To Duba USA thinks it makes sense. He thinks it makes sense, yo. He thinks it makes sense. He thinks it makes sense. Put a 1 in the chat if you think this makes sense. And notice he didn't put a 1. Duba, put a 1 in the chat. Keep it real. Stop faking. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it makes no sense at all. That, you know, if you think a crime was committed, you should have prosecuted already. What are you waiting for? What the fuck are you waiting for? Your job is to prosecute people that commit crimes. You don't have to ask Trump for nothing. What the hell? This is the actual job. Unless you're a slave, you don't expect anything if you're a slave.
The Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed a top prosecutor in New York to lead this investigation. And
lead an investigation? What have you found out? What's the motherfucking... There's nothing to do to prosecute. They would look. Is there something against the law? We're just saying, boom, this is what we caught you with, and now we're charging you. No, there's nothing against the law. That's usually what happens. We found this. We're charging him with this. There's no charges yet. This is bullshit.
That is a complete 180 from her, because back in July...
No charges on Bill Clinton yet, y'all. What time is it? It's 11:44 Central European Time, November 17th, Monday, November 17th. No charges pressed so far on Bill Clinton, y'all. What time is it in your neck of the woods?
She, along with the head of the FBI, said that they had looked at all the Epstein files and found no reason to reinvestigate anything. Eddie?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the coming days. Thank you, Rob.
Damn, that is crazy. That is crazy. But in any case, you know, I don't know how much worse it could get. ICE has been going around beating people's asses, of course. That hasn't changed. They have been found to go down to where is ICE at right now? ICE went over to is it South Carolina? ICE is in South Carolina, right? Isn't that where they are right now? From what I heard, it was South Carolina. they've been there busting some heads, I guess. Yeah. Ripping people apart from their family members and making excuses about it. And let me see, what else is there here? Do I have this? Stop Caroline Levitt. Let me see here. Right, here we go. All right, and actually, let me go over to this real quick. Boom. I'm gonna close this out. I just want to go through the other small stories here. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Click the like button if you haven't clicked the like button. Subscribe if you've never subscribed before, and show a little love since you are here. And let me see. Since you like being here, you're here. Show some love. You can disagree and still show some love. I do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not about disagreeing about pedophiles, crooks and all of that other shit. But let me see here. Let me go to the shorts real quick on this account. And here we go. Where the shorts at? Is it right here? This is the latest news. Now, let's see here. There's military. This is a PBS story. Military personnel seek legal advice on whether Trump ordered missions that are lawful. Right. And And this is now this is a MS host. I forget her name. What the sister's name is. She's flat out saying Trump is acting like a pedophile.
Donald Trump wants to talk about Bill Clinton. Let's talk about Bill Clinton. Was he on the island? Well, Epstein emailed to Michael Wolff about Bill Clinton sent on January 2015. Email: Clinton was never, ever there. All right. Well, guess that closes that part of the investigation. Epstein claimed he was spending Thanksgiving in 2017 with Trump, according to White House records.
Do you agree? Do you agree with that? Let's hear here. Was Trump was Clinton not there? I mean, come on. Was he not on the island? I guess that's what Epstein says.
Epstein claimed he was spending Thanksgiving in 2017 with Trump there. All right. Email: Clinton was never, ever there. All right. Well, guess that closes that part of the.
Yeah. So Clinton says, not Clinton. Epstein says Clinton was never, ever there on the island. Okay. So is that true or false? Just put a true or false if you believe it or not.
Investigation.
Now. Yeah, I mean, who are you going to listen to? You're gonna now that information is out there, what are you going to prosecute? You're going to try to say he was on the island? No, not if Epstein. I mean, do you have any evidence? I mean, are there video cameras? What are there? Are there others that are saying that he was there on the island? Who's saying he was there? Who are they going to interview? The victims? They're not going to interview them, apparently. So, where's this really going? These people have walked themselves into a corner that cannot be. There is no way out of this. There's no way out of this. It's over for them. It's over for the whole administration, and they just can't talk their way out of this. It's over. Look. No matter, every time someone raises a new point, every time they try to go in and prosecute somebody or do something about it, it only brings up more obvious questions that they can't answer.
Ever there. All right. Well, guess that closes that part of the investigation. Epstein claimed he was spending Thanksgiving in 2017 with Trump. According to White House records, Trump spent Thanksgiving of 2017, his first as president, at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach. The White House did not disclose the guest list. 2017 with Trump. Claimed he was
2017. 2017 is long after Caroline Levitt's little speech where he found out he was a pedophile and a creep and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. 2017 is almost damn near a decade after that. This 2017, the dude was the president. The dude was the president. Like, he's the president hanging out with Epstein in 2017. Was he the president? I mean, he was the president 2000. Let me see something now. That would be January 20th. If it was after January 20th, yes. When was that email? I don't know when that email was written, but in any case, yeah. That's 2017.
Spending Thanksgiving in 2017 with Trump.
2017. No, he wrote this after 2017, right? He wrote this So this is he's writing this email after this account that he's giving in the email, obviously, right? So, and he's mentioning 2017 Thanksgiving. This is after the election, right? This is after. Yeah, this is a year after. Damn, he been president a year, yo. What the? There's nothing they can do. Yo, you cannot take this guy serious about nothing. Every single individual in Trump's administration has played themselves. They are not reliable and they're not serious. There's nothing they can do that is part of the law anymore. Like, they have been busted. They have busted themselves openly on international TV by talking and being found out that the shit they're saying makes no sense over and over and over and over again. Like, they have to be impeached, all of them. You can't have a government. A government cannot function this way. It can't.
According to White House records, Trump spent Thanksgiving of 2017.
Anybody, go find a couple of crackheads on the corner. Go find anyone else. Anyone else can do a better job. Like, this is the lowest of the low.
17, his first as president, at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach. The White House did not disclose the guest list. Kush, everybody but Donald Trump apparently needs to be investigated for the emails. Why is the president acting like he is implicated as a pedophile in these emails? No one's ever said the president was a pedophile. He is the only person acting guilty.
Right. When the media comes out there and starts saying things like that, like he's acting like a pedophile, dude, you're over. You're finished. They have more information than what they're saying.
Yeah, no,
They have more information than what they're saying, you know?
And yes, give me that mic, man. I'll rip it.
Okay. Right. Here we go again. Right. They're urging. He's urging Bondi. Okay. So
after 3 years of therapy.
Let me see. What is this? Is this a promotion? Let me mute this. Here we go. 2 seconds. I don't even know what the heck this is. Come on. Yeah, but they're capping for Trump, and it's not looking good. There's nothing they can do to make any of this make sense. There's it's all foolery at the taxpayers' dime. The taxpayers having a real rough time right now, and this is the best that they're like. No one can take this government serious. This government is not serious and will not be taken serious by anyone. Like, everyone is literally laughing at the United States, like, straight up. And you know how people laugh. They may not do it. They may do it as soon as you leave the room. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, the U.S. has weapons, so they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, you want to meet? We take you seriously. But behind your back, ooh, they're dogging you. They're dogging the U.S. Hold on, what is this? Listen to this. Listen to this bullshit. This guy broke himself. This dude, this is another Trumpian dude. Listen.
Well, let me give you an example. 10 minutes.
He explains to you how I'll put it to you this way. He's giving douchebag Dershowitz is giving his definition of what a pedophile is. Listen.
Before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile. He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile.
What? So he's going to cap too. He's planning on cap. Man, this dude is finished. He's finished. He's finished. This guy is finished. So listen, if douchebag is capping like this, you know, you can only expect that he likes them young. Like, seriously. Like, you can only expect that.
Pleaded guilty.
You don't need to go. No man goes out there and makes excuses for another man doing this. You don't do that. You just shut the fuck up. If it's someone you know who did something like that, maybe you just shut the hell up. But you don't go out there and try to explain to the world how, hey, this is not nothing. This is not what you think it is. Nothing there. It's just, hey. And this guy, he has something to do. He gave some money or something. I don't remember. So don't just take my word, but look it up. I believe there was something. I read something about this guy trying to get the legal age brought down, like seriously, even lowered from where it is. People that are interested in douchebaggish, you should look into that. I believe he had something to do with advocating for the law to be brought younger in Florida. I think it was Florida that they were talking about. But do you buy this? Do you buy this? Do you think? All right, I'll put it to you this way. I don't know what kind of technicality he plans on using here. I don't know what it is, but the person was called a minor in the court records. Let me see here. Let me just do something real quick. In the Epstein court records from Florida, was he charged with a minor, right? I believe it's a minor. Let me see. Did I write that right? Okay, well, it'll figure it out. And then this guy's going to come out there and be like, it's not pedophilia. It's just a minor. Okay. Thank you for that. Look, it was a minor. It was a minor. Look, grand jury heard testimony underage girls, teenagers about sexual. Hold on. According to the state legislator analysis, police recommended serious charges. Okay. But let's see here. Plea deal, guilty in Florida. Here it is. 2 felony charges. Solicitation of prostitution and procurement of a minor for prosecution. So what the hell is this guy talking about? This is douchebagish.
To one count of having sex for money. Give you an example. 10 minutes before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile.
And so what's wrong with that?
He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person.
That's a minor. What's his issue? What's his issue? You don't decide what's too young. It's the Florida state that does. And in that state, the person was a minor. What is that called? And it's a crime anyway. Look. What he committed, procurement of a minor for prostitution. Not even just a minor, for prostitution. I mean, that's like if you couldn't fuck it up just doing one thing, how about you do 2 things and make no excuse, make it be totally clear you are a dirtbag. Like, damn. And this is Trump's buddy at this time. This is Trump's buddy at the very least. And this is his excuse too. Look,
that's not pedophile.
Whatever. Anyway, we don't need anyone. We don't need him to tell us what pedophiles are, you know?
I mean,
okay, let's see here. Hold on.
Not paying a...
Okay, so that's it, y'all. Now I'm going to end it on this. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Click the like button. Let me know also in the chat. There's that poll there. Let me know. Do you think the Supreme Court gave Trump immunity already having in mind that he is dirty in the Epstein files? Like, do you think that that's the real reason why they went out there on a limb and gave him qualified immunity or some, whatever the hell they call it, extra immunity. I don't know what it is. Some immunity that Biden didn't have, some immunity that no other president had before this, right? Do you think the Supreme Court already knew more about these Epstein files, things that are being revealed now that the public didn't know then? Do you think that's why? If you think there's a connection, let me know in the comments section. Put one in the chat if you want to do that. When the stream is over, it's going to go into replay mode. You can leave. Let me know what you think in the comment section there. And I'm going to be out. Subscribe. Yo, Bits, I appreciate it a lot. Everybody take Bits up on those free memberships. Yeah, I'll be right back at y'all in a few. Now let's just go out on this. This was really wild. This was a guy who was minding his own damn business. And that's how MAGA come and find you. You mind your own business. They just come and fuck with you, and they yelled to this guy, Trump, yeah, no. And the guy was like, what the hell? Let me ask them some questions. So let's check this out and then I'll be out.
Fucking 1980 something beater. Why are you simping for a billionaire and a sexual abuser? And what kind of example does that set for your daughter, you piece of shit? You're just, hey, name me a Trump policy. Name me a Trump policy. Can you tell me how the Electoral College works? Did he win the popular vote or the plural vote? The people's vote? You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm out. I appreciate y'all for coming out. I'm gonna catch up with y'all in the next 12 hours. Peace. All right. And also, yo, look after each other, all right? Look after each other for real. Release the Epstein files, you heard? Click the like button, subscribe.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Even 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamond diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war, diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. I traveled the globe just to gain perspective. The theory of relativity applied. Of course, it took a while to decide how I should proceed, but even my life is truly based upon need. So I move forward with more deliberate speed. Smash corny motherfuckers that stuck on greed. My seed is worth more than $1 million in future stock. The goal is to break the safe, the padlock. Mad cats can't stop it, need a rocket. Your style is boring and cold, mine is tropic. Battles you want, commit, you'll change the topic. My partner should get to put your beat in the pocket. So this nigga here can proceed to destroy your stereotypical pop rap gangsta ploy. Not hating on niggas from the ghetto, but I'm hating on copycat rappers from the meadow. They procreate bullshit without paying a price. That's like talking about CeeLo with no dice. I drink milk, but that's about it. I won't compare dairy MCs to dope shit. See a whack MC when he bustin', but I just back away real cool, no fussin'. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds, open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do, so sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you. Despite the system trying to clamp down on the people will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far, but evil lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin, but then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. Listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Bennett, brother, check the vision. Mentalities of different realities. Enter the Star Trek room when you hit the boom. I be the Walkman with the super bass. Automatic stop, yes, stereo cassette player. With the delayer, freaky lyrical sprayer. Extra